because
Please
I had a
do.
thought the other day, and is like the perfect person to ask, and I gotta get to work. Or Geo, but E1's in here, and then you guys were having a conversation that brought it up to my mind. If that's cool.
Ask away, dude.
Um, my I had thought the other day, like, is there a hypothesis in a flat Earth um framework as to how or why there's southern lights and northern lights, and if or why they look different?
Are you meaning the stars or the
No, the
wandering?
lights. Like everyone talks
He
about
he was
northern lights,
asking
but
Geo specifically if Geo is available.
Oh, I'm
well,
sorry. I'm sorry.
actually, Ewan was bringing up the electromagnetic field and the gases and how the
Yeah,
gases
he's
create
asking about
northern
the
lights.
northern lights. Yeah, the northern lights or the southern, like the northern lights. E1. He's asking about why there's a difference between the south and the north.
And why there's
Oh,
even southern lights like on a flat Earth.
because of the pole. So I believe that it's a dual pole. So it's not that you have a positive and negative. So it's not positive north, negative south, or vice versa. It's the same charge. It's the same electric current. It's just like one wire that's bent over, or the wires are connected in the atmosphere. And the reason that I believe that we have aurora australis and aurora
The
borealis
same
is because
charge. You can
there you
put
go. It's the same charge. So whenever you get a kick out of the sun or a kick out of any type of uh, astronomical or above radiation or ionosphere coming down, or what they call X class solar flares or M class, you are going to get those aurora borealis or aurora australis on both ends. And it seems most of the time that the interaction between the aurora australis or the ones in the south pole are way stronger. And I'm depicting that as because the current, the actual, the amperage running through the world's or the sky's electric grid is coming from the south and going to the north. And that also explains why you have a bigger rotation of the south and a tighter rotation in the north, just because of how their interaction between whatever object it is would have to grab more energy when it's in the north and spin tighter. And then at the bottom, there's more energy there, but it has less of a static or electric charge on the outside that makes it spin further around. So that's why you get the discrepancies between the analemas to where the figure eight's bigger on the outside. And I can't remember what else you were asking me about. I'm just
No,
talking
that
now.
was
Sorry.
exactly what. Yeah, your point to that brought up the analemma, and I was going to say if that ties together, but you just explained it. Yeah, so and you got it. Okay, that was good. Thank you. I was the
And
other
I
thing
would
is like,
okay.
do they appear in the South? They appear as almost like more like vertical lines with color gradients between them versus these kind of weaker, smooth transition of colors, like waving around in the north, right?
No, so you're gonna get it to both. I mean, I'm not an expert on this. Try not nobody trying to think I'm an expert on any of this shit I'm talking about. But from my experience in the northern part, when you're looking at the aurora borealis, the stronger the actual storm, magnetic storm, whatever the inconsistency that's happened in the upper atmosphere that's given us the auroras, the stronger it is, the brighter the color, as far as you're going to get the purples, the pinks, and then the whites, and they're going to be higher up. You're going to get the altitude is going to climb up higher, and you're going to hear them. You're going to hear them like glass or like chandeliers touching each other, almost like
Really?
electricity. Oh fuck yeah, dude, it's insane. I thought I
I
was
didn't know you could hear them.
Oh, dude, yes. It has to be pretty uh excited or
Calm.
a good storm for it. You got to see the at least the reds and the pinks for it you to really hear it. But you just hear like a crystalline or like ice or electricity. But my understanding is, and from what my research is in the South, it's not that it's any different. It's just way more vibrant and way more. You're almost going to see ribbons going up of almost like Jacob, almost like I don't want to. What would you call it? The structure of the helio or the chromosomes. What do they call that? I can't remember what they call that. But like a
Well,
lattice
and
structure.
lower on
That's
the horizon, right?
well, no, like you have a lattice structure, like a ladder that spins a top. It's like the DNA structure. You know what
The
I'm talking about?
helix.
Helix, there you go. Helix
Helix.
coil. That's what you get when you get really, really, really bad geomagnetic storms. Is you see the colors literally spin up in helix coils going up to the sky in different colors, with greens at the bottoms, reds, purples, whites when it really gets bad. And in the southern area, I'm under the impression, or this is what I've come to realize, that it's way stronger. Even the same storm, you get more colors, way more electricity connection to the southern pole than you do the north.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, that just randomly came to my mind the other day, and I'm like, I don't know when the time to ask that, like who will be in there, but then you and Jeremy's conversation back and forth let me know that either one of you could probably give me some sort of an answer as to you guys looking
Yeah.
into it, because I've never looked into it. I don't really see people describe that
But
phenomenon
when you
between
look
the
at
north and south.
but
Mm-hmm.
when you look at that helix having a rim on one side and the other side, but they're both kind of bending to the same side, that's the same thing we see our sun do basically.
Yes, the what do they call it? The solar flares or the magnetic fields coming off of it. Is that what you're talking about, or not?
No, I mean a movement to the first 180 arc and the second 180 arc, because they all both go from one point to another point, but they're not really circling. It's just one arc together with another arc.
Oh, I see what you're talking. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yep. And I think a lot of it has to do with, as far as what we're looking at, these geometric shapes or symbols from across eons of different times, is not just a certain luminary or a certain body that they were talking about in the sky or depicting what was happening they were trying to describe, but we have to look at least I think we have to look at the time frame and what they're talking. So some of these symbols are the sun that shows its ecliptic in an entire, or its path with an entire year. That's what gives us the figure eight. The same thing with the Mercury or Venus gives you the Celtic knot with an entire year, both top and bottom on the south. I don't know if I'm just rambling here, but that's how I see these things going together, as far as between the dual pole and then all the other depictions of the Earth, whatever grid you're looking at. It seems to overlay with, no matter what body you're looking at, you can overlay a geometric symbol of what it does, and you yourself, not, I don't have to prove it to you. You can look at it and go, oh yeah, if this is the way it is, this is what the pattern it would make in a year.
Yeah, but if you look at how they divided the world basically in 6 sectors, then we're only seeing 2 arms of those sectors with that sun, meaning where does it go in the other 4 parts? And if you look at the Earth, at the radius of Earth to the sun, it takes 365.25 days to make that full 93 million miles. So in a way, they
0.25.
are showing us we're just every day doing just a little piece of a certain arc.
0.25.
Well, and you got to remember the leap year. They got to take away a day to make sure
Gotta be
everything works out.
specific, you know. Fuck.
That's how it works out to be the 0.25.
If
You
Hey,
can
you,
take that
you
out with
can't,
the
you
E1,
can't.
by the
scientific.
way, there's somebody in the chat that's claiming that there's like a week longer. The sun stays in the north a week longer.
How do they? How dare they?
No, it stays. If you're looking at the analemma, it's not that it stays within it literally crosses every 182 days, 82 and point whatever days. It crosses the ecliptic of the celestial equator. But where the analemma crosses, where you see the figure eight actually cross to make the pretzel looking thing, where that point is past the celestial equator. And you can see it. I mean, it's just that's how it works.
Yeah, I don't know if he was referring to the analemma explanation that you had, but yeah, he says, but the sun doesn't spend equal time in the sun. Now, this guy actually is pretty familiar with the geocentric whatever claims. But anyway, so and he does like astrological observation of his own. So I'm not saying he's totally wrong, but it's strange to hear him claim. But he says, but the sun doesn't spend equal time in the south versus the north. It spends about a week longer in the north every year. And so he was responding to my explanation of the sun that was like, it comes from
Well,
your
I would have
explanation.
to disagree with
So I
that.
said, citation, you got some nautical almanac data backing that up? He says, yeah,
Well,
my nautical almanac's from last year.
every
Well,
4 years
so
on the sundial, it seems to stay in the south, I would say. An extra, it takes that path along the Tropic of Capricorn an extra amount. I think that's why they developed the 0.25, because they couldn't say that, every 4 years we have this phenomena because it has to be symmetrical because it is a globe. But you could just get a sundial out and test it yourself.
Well, yeah, and I think the reason is because of the way that we've changed our actual calendars. It used to be lunar calendars, and everything went off of the actual timing of the luminaries, and then they went to the Gregorian calendar, and the only way they could get around to make it working is to where they could fudge that leap year. They can take away one day, no matter what happens. It allows the years to sync up with the days that need to be for the certain feasts of tabernacles and whatever. So the calendars matched up together and everything worked. But the problem is with that every year it's a week longer. So what, in 4 years we're a month off?
Not a
I
year,
mean,
not every year, yeah. But in that guy, what
it,
he's saying, yeah, I agree with you. But
it
yeah, it's
just
like,
doesn't
yeah.
work like that. But I'm not trying to argue with anybody about it. It just doesn't seem to work like that. And I mean, literally, I'm not trying to say that I'm more knowledgeable about anybody, but I've spent 12 years literally measuring the sun, literally measuring the moon, literally measuring the way the
You can't do
constellations move
that.
around.
You did
What
not.
The
I did.
apparent sun, you have to say the apparent sun
How?
because it is.
My
So
incredulity is coming out right now.
I've literally
No.
built my house as a sundial. I literally have petrified opalized wood laid out for
No.
the noon, for 1 o'clock all the way from
Take
8
a
in the morning
picture. Take
to.
a picture and show me that. Show me that.
I have altars at exact like literally concrete pillars that are looking like pi, like it looks like the pi symbol, that are set up, that are 8 feet long, 3 feet tall, that are
You
set up at
are
12, 6,
officially.
and 9. My
You're
house is built.
officially a like one of the people that the ancients would be like, hey, this guy might have known something.
I'm
He's a
sure
sun
there's.
worshiper. I'm just
I'm,
kidding.
Like after the mud flood comes again, and they find your house, they'll be like, "Oh, these guys were fucking geniuses."
They have those built everywhere though on the earth, right? One that's
they
like,
do
yeah, it's
everywhere.
all over.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
how
like
it's like.
it's
All
not like I'm the
right,
first person.
all right, yeah. So you're just perpetuating what they're gonna say 500 years.
Sugar cookie, you're hilarious.
Right? Oh man,
No,
this is
what
great. So
I'm going to be in
you're
trouble for is.
actually like all balls deep in it.
Well, put it this way, I will tell you one of the things that I've already started to do. I haven't finished the big one, but I've finished a small one. Certain places around California for now, because I probably ain't going to get past Utah or
Well, don't
Nevada.
dox
But
yourself. Don't dox yourself.
oh no, this is great. I hope some people look
Let
for
me
it.
ask you
I
this:
have
you have a
I have
Belgian
ground.
Malinois?
What?
You have a dog? A
No. Oh
Belgian
yes, I have a dog,
Malinois?
but it's not a Belgian Malinois. That's for sure.
What? Anyway,
But I'm
Hey,
actually
continue
I have
on.
the templates. I have the templates to carve out my map, my latitude longitude grid over the top of the map with inside of rock. So all I have to do is go out there, and it's pretty much just a blaster, a sand blaster is what it
right
is.
on.
And I just facially do it to where I'd put an overlay of rubber, and I can do this down. And I want 3 panels. I want one with the latitude and longitude of my map, one that explains how it works, and then one that explains just my understanding of everything. And it's not just going to be like a paragraph of how it's worded. It's going to be exactly how I came up with it. You look at this
What kind
information.
of mission does this fulfill for you? Are you like some sort of religious wackadoo? Or
I
I
don't
mean,
He's
know.
talking
if
I'm
you
about
are,
making
that's
his
cool.
mark.
That's fine. But or are you just like, hey,
Religious
dude,
wackadoo.
I love geo coordinates and like figuring the shit out kind of thing. Like what? Like what? It takes a
It's
certain
just a
person
map.
to
It's just a
go that
picture.
far, right?
Just think about this. Just think about it's a 4x4 panel, 4 feet by 4 feet, and it's just a rubber overlay that I have to put over 3 overlays to make the panel for the image of the
You make a
map.
shadow, like, and you trace over it, kind of thing.
No, I just put it over there, and I have the sprayer. It's a like a sandblaster, and you just spray the rock. I
Yeah.
rock climb, so I can go up onto cliffs, huge slab cliffs, and
What
I
kind
can
of
lower
rock?
down sandstone or granite, one of the
Oh, right
two. It
on.
doesn't matter. But you want to pick up a good granite, a good bedrock type granite that's not going to flake off or break off or anything
Yeah,
like
you
that.
don't want
Anyway,
that to. Yeah, you want to hold time.
so it literally will take me approximately. I've done one panel, so it took me about an hour to lower myself down there, have the compressor running all everything, put the membrane over it, and spray it. So I want to have like 3 or 4 places on the world to where my idea. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm not saying I know everything,
Right on. That's
but
fine.
that people will look around
Are you
later
also?
on.
Are you so like you want 3 or 4 places of the world
I have 3 distinct places
to
picked out. Yes,
to do what?
to leave my mark of my information of the dual pole.
And that would be
But
some sort of symbolization, or would you be like, hey, like
no, there'll be
here's like literally
maps.
in English, you would just like write it out.
That well, it's not in English. It's the same way that you would
Oh, for
depict.
fuck's sake!
No, it's not in English. It's a map. So you would
Why the
see
hell
my
not?
map.
Why would you make it a mystery? Could stop making it a mystery.
There's no because what if they figure this? What if China takes over the world and they come down and look at it? How are they going to
Well,
know what the hell I'm talking about? If it's talking about,
China's
it's got to be symbols. It's got to be symbols. So the triangle will show them that.
what if I come over there or Geo comes over there and it's like,
Then
shit,
you would be
hey,
able to
we're
look
gonna
at
have
this
to do
map and
some
go, this
crypto
is a map of the
encoders.
world. This is a map of the world, and it has nothing to do with anything that we are depicting the world as. What the fuck are they talking about? And then they'll look down on the next panel, and it'll literally say,
It's like the
"So the
movie.
sky is like this. The depictions of the
Nicolas
different
Cage has to
overlays."
be with us.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't. That's the whole beauty of it. It's not nobody's going to figure out, find any treasure. Nobody needs to go and find this. I'm not going to tell people about it. It's if somebody finds this, it's going to be carved into a rock to where nobody should be able to take this thing off unless they go up there and climb 150 feet up on top of a slab of a cliff and literally chisel it off of the rock.
You
Otherwise, you're going to be able to see
I
it.
guarantee you, this is the exact same conversation they had like 1,000 or 2 years ago. That we're all like looking at like you know unearthed things, and we're like, hey, what does this thing say? And they were getting all the cryptologists just involved. And then actually at the time, they were doing the same thing on the internet. It existed back then. And they're like, run across a dude. It's like, no, dude,
I
I'm just going
can't
to
be
make it in stone.
I can't be down on you for that because I actually believe that looking at the history and everything that it is, it seems that there was technology on this planet way more, our
Yeah.
plane of existence that was way more than what we have today. So
Yeah.
I can't rule
So
out
let
that
me
there
ask you
wasn't
this.
internet.
So if let's pretend you're an archaeologist and you're going back and you're looking at all this shit and you're trying to figure out what the fuck it says, wouldn't you doing what you're doing make it easier for you to figure out what the fuck it says in the future?
That's what I'm trying to do. Instead of getting
Well,
away from a
why wouldn't you
language,
just put it in English, like plain English? Like,
because it
hey,
doesn't need to be in
here's the
English.
thing,
It needs to be either in mathematics
or
or it needs to
multiple
be in
language.
no, not in language, not a language, in symbolism, so that you can literally
It
know
makes it more
that
difficult.
no, it
Well, is
doesn't. So
not
if well, hold on, if I put if
is
I
the
put
alphabet not symbolism?
no,
Why?
that's a language.
No, those are letters.
Well, you can call it a symbol, but it's actually has a language meaning behind each
That's
each
right, like
letter,
Greek.
as opposed
It's like,
to a symbol, which is a symbol which has a meaning all
okay, so
unto
you want it
itself.
to transcend language.
Yes, there you go. That's
Okay,
exactly
okay.
what. And make it
Okay, so
easy
you
to
want it
where
to
you
be
know what I'm talking about.
easy to understand, like a happy face and a smiley face.
Pretty much, but not so
Kind
much
of.
like that. It's like
Right,
you can
right.
look at it's a map that I'm talking about the map, and then you can literally look down on the next panel and know, oh shit, he separated the map
So
to
you
where this is the delineation of the latitude and longitude, and it all derives from a magnetic field that is all within all of the symbology of
okay?
all of
So
it.
like, how do you feel about like the thing that has like the human man at the circle and he's like almost like he's got his arms spread out and it was like I think they sent it in like the I don't know Sputnik or whatever the shit. What is it like back in the day? Like uh Da Vinci Man or whatever.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? And they're like,
It's
hey, this is yeah.
the plasm guy that they say that there was in the sky that's all over depicted all over the
No,
um
no, no,
No,
no,
he's talking
no.
about the depiction with the guy with his arms spread out and it's
His arms
showing the
out, his legs, he's got
proportionality.
his yeah proportions of a
Yeah.
man and like
oh
and a
okay, what about
drawing.
okay,
And then
what
they
about it?
sent that out. They sent that out in outer space, and I think they sent it out on a record, like
Okay,
Yeah,
a
that's
gold
an
yeah,
medal.
album.
It was a
I
gold
think
medal.
that's ridiculous. I think
Well, of
that's
course they didn't send any.
absolutely
They
ridiculous.
didn't send anything out into outer space. You think that the Voyager 1's still pinging back after what,
Yeah,
160 million miles?
dude, hang on. Hold up.
Actually, as a matter of fun fact, Voyager 1 just officially passed the one light day mark.
Right.
Woohoo!
Of course it did. But they sent that out. This is the story, right? So they sent it out, and then they had a record, an album record, like you would play on
we
your
know about this. Yeah,
turntable.
it was time capsule or whatever, just in case an alien
Yeah,
race
they put
were to
it
come
on
upon
a
it,
time to.
they could
I'm
understand.
like like that is confusing to the fucking aliens
It's great propaganda the way
who
they
would
did it.
get that record and be like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Hey, by the
And
way,
like,
Sugar Cookie and E1, hold up for just a sec, because Nathan Oakley is here in the room. I think he's
okay,
probably trying to start his show because he's been going around to different Discord rooms and doing his show, kind of broadcast from the room, so people here
all
can
right.
participate. Nathan, are you there? Do you want to chime in and tell us what you're looking to do?
Nathan Oakley's model versus dual pole model. Let's hear it.
No,
I
it's this
don't know, Nathan,
aliens.
are you there?
Aliens are supposed to be able to read this record, apparently, that we sent out there.
Yeah, because we didn't
Nathan,
get a
this
record
dual
player.
pole model is pretty hot, bro. I don't know if yours is better.
Yeah, please stop cooking for Nathan. New perspective. He doesn't need it.
I wasn't cucking for Nathan. I'm asking if he wants to chime in because he's here.
Yeah,
And
thanks. He
if he
doesn't
does.
need your introduction.
Yeah, well, you don't need to make comments about anything I'm doing, bro. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to organize what might be happening here. That's all. You want to participate.
Yes.
You
Yes, you
want to get
organize
yelled at
it.
by Nathan, don't you? Aren't you here to do that? Aren't you here to get
Yeah,
yelled at?
organize it. New perspective. You got it.
Yeah, your giggles are just lame, bro. Why would you even say something to try to
How
troll right
about
now?
both of you shut the fuck up? How about that?
Yeah, why don't we both shut the
Word.
fuck up?
Yeah.
Nathan's not responding anyway. Maybe he's just sitting there
Yeah,
on
he
mute.
doesn't. He's not listening to you, so he doesn't need your help.
Hey Wesley, how about you just shut up?
Yeah, I agree.
I'll take that into under advisement. Thank you, Dora.
So anyway,
Dude, I think the kaleidoscope effect makes perfect sense, especially how you could depict the globe in so many different ways or the land masses in so many different ways, but you can't do that for your town. Why can you not make different projections of your town? Why is that?
Hey, E1, I sent you Joe Hanvey's stuff, which is what he's referring to. And that's where the kaleidoscope physical model he made is on his Facebook page. But I sent that link to you if you want to check it out. He's done a cool demonstration of how it could work if there's like a firmament with reflections and stuff.
You
on
don't even
his
need a
Facebook.
firmament, dude. You don't even need that. If you look up right now, if you Google, does different atmospheric layers where they meet cause a mirroring effect? It'll tell you it does. And that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, so we
Well,
obviously
you can
know that we
actually,
have mirroring effects here.
Well, you'd have
and
to
you can get
you'd have to
this
rely
from
on a
two different.
consistent illusion.
None of
The only
this is
problem with
what
it
we
is
were talking about like 1 minute ago.
hey, sugar cookie, real quick. I was just gonna say the only problem with it being like an illusion that's caused by the atmospheric mirroring is that it would have to be pretty consistent on like a regular basis for it to be the way that we see things, right?
Yeah, the upper layers of
Oh
the
yeah.
atmosphere are extremely consistent.
Right. Well, so that's the idea of the peripheral.
Yeah, like you know how the kaleidoscope, everything gets distorted on the edges, right? And now this is also taking into consideration the biblical Hebraic cosmology. So, how the Hebrews conceived
Nothing.
of the earth, as well as many ancients, that there's actually something over top of the earth called a firmament or a dome or something like that. So,
Well,
once
we
you
were just
incorporate
What's
something
the
like
Hebrew
that,
translation or root word for kaleidoscope?
well before that we were talking about a dude that was gonna carve some shit in stone so that way people 500 years from now can know what we're talking about right now.
Oh, well,
And
no, I don't. I'm not trying to say that they will know what I'm talking about. I'm
well,
just
right,
saying that
we're
I put
gonna
them in
encrypt
three
it that
different
way,
areas,
like
so
code it.
people can have the possibility to look at least what I was talking about. Because there's no way I'm going to explain it in a book or a
Right.
journal
Well,
that I leave
that's
out there.
bullshit. That's what I'm saying. That's bullshit. You should just write it in a book instead of carve it in stone with like mathematic bullshit. Like
You could
it's
at least, hey,
enigmatic.
you could at least add your website,
Right.
whatever. Just add it at the bottom. Like if you want more
Like a
information,
QR
et cetera.
code. Put
Well,
your QR code on it.
I actually even thought about that because I could put what do they call them like geocaches or whatever. Just
Oh
put a
yeah.
drop. Just
I
put a
love that
drop right
shit.
there. I could put it right into the rock. I mean, it
A
wouldn't be
little
hard.
pillbox. Like a
dude,
little
those are epic when you
snus
find those.
can.
Yeah, when you're like climbing or you're doing a little hiking and it just
Yep.
adds a little like treasure hunt to the hike, dude. It's
It's the
fun.
best. Just the best.
Can you imagine you come along that, you see that, you have to rappel down 100 feet or climb up 150 feet. You get up there and there's a fucking USB connection. You're like, what? Holy
Yeah.
crap.
And you
See
sign
what
your
the
name
hell
in the
that's.
little booklet says you were there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, now
So
I know.
I would say the
500 years
places
from
that I'm.
now, like you're gonna have. So that's what we were talking about. Was like, okay, so you have like a few things across whatever locations, and
Yep.
you're like, okay, I want my ideas to be implanted, basically, or
Well, no,
known. If somebody
not so much
happens
planted, but
across my
somebody to see them, somebody to have the possibility to see my personal information as far as where we are, how it all works, and how they could see it visually in front of them.
why
Not
would
on
you make it why would you make it like Nicolas Cage has to figure the fucking shit out though?
No, Elon,
because
Elon, can you though for me look into dome refraction? Now, I'm not saying like a dome above the earth. This dome refraction is a real thing in underwater photography, and I think you already agree that the medium that we're in, we're swimming within. You know what I mean? Like you
well,
already agree there's a medium.
I've always said that we are the bottom feeders of the sea of air that we live in.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a
So
So,
distraction.
so if you check
well,
out what dome refraction is and what they do to lenses that they bring underwater, it's very interesting that it's a possibility that the way that sensation turns to perception in our mind also uses this concept.
Well, yeah, and I would also put this
Yeah.
along with the whole thing with the rainbow and the way that you get from the observer's viewpoint, no matter where you are, as far as on the plane of existence or what time of the day it is, you get a spectrum split of the rainbow in a certain color spectrum. And then the second rainbow, no matter where you are or who you are, it's always 1/3 the distance from the second rainbow to the first rainbow as it is from the distance from the first rainbow to the observer's viewpoint. And it's
Aha. So that's how
completely
far
Yeah.
the
reversed.
distance of your properties that you're going to put the coding
No,
messages
no.
Hey,
So,
sugar
are.
cookie,
so you're
sugar
And
cookie.
letting.
not
Let him
only
continue.
that, we have
Hey, let him
we have
finish. Let him
magnetic.
finish with his explanation about the double rainbow confirming the possible
Dude,
firmament.
oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to him about a whole.
Yeah,
Okay,
let
yeah.
him
Double
finish. Let him
rainbows,
finish, sugar
definitely.
cookie. He was in the middle of explaining what the double rainbow.
Double rainbows,
So,
100%
so,
overtake.
so you have an inverse of the spectrum. So you would have a reflection to give you the rainbow. That literally is that dome, a firmament, whether it be a crystalline structure, a magnetic field, or just the atmosphere itself that gives you that rainbow circle. But then you would have to have the refraction, which would be the light going through the firmament or through that magnetic field or through that fluid, whatever it is. Whatever that distance is, that third, 1/3 of the distance from the observer viewpoint, from the second rainbow to the first rainbow. thickness of that dome or of that firmament, because that's where the light is refracted, literally turned around and inversed to where the color spectrum is completely backwards and 50% the strength of the first rainbow. So you're looking at a reflection of light for your first rainbow, and the second rainbow is the refraction, that the depth of the light going through the firmament or through the magnetic field or through the fluid that everybody else thinks of as the atmosphere or space, and then coming back to you at a 50% reduction, and it's refracted. And that
Where
shows
through
me
the gel or whatever, through
and
the
whatever you
Yeah,
think
but
it is.
there's
Elon
something.
went.
We also
Go
have
ahead.
magnetic hysteresis, which is the drag of light behind an object. So when you got a magnetic field that has a flux, meaning it has a movement, that light will be dragged along with it.
That's a good point. And Ewan, I just want you to know when it's modeled physically, it doesn't matter if the light is within the dome or outside of the dome. The effect is the same.
dome.
Can be, yes, because of the structuralized or the structure of the dome itself, whatever it may be, whether it be a magnetic field, an actual crystalline structure, a glass structure, a fluid structure as a bubble. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter if the light's inside or out. You still get the same convexing and converging to make the rainbows and all that kind of stuff. It just
And
depends on.
E1,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
In your perspective, am I asking, because you're obviously have a shit ton of stuff planned out and you're way fucking smarter than I am.
Thanks, man. That's not
So that,
true, but I
yeah,
appreciate it.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, no worries. Am I, or I don't, and I dare not speak about other people in or however they would ask you questions along the way, but however, uh, are the questions that I/we are asking like fucking retarded questions to ask you?
No, a lot of them are point on. I mean, exactly what you need to
Okay,
ask. The
right
problem
on.
is that I've gone past the whole flat Earth thing. I understand that it's very
Right.
important. It definitely is what the catalyst is of where I think we all need to be getting to. But I just think the flat Earth and the whole idea of the ball flat Earth and all that
Oh,
has nothing to do
it's like
with what
the
we need to
difference
know.
between like eating out of two like a trough of the same thing or whatever. I
It's a
can't
false
say. Is that what it is?
dichotomy. Yeah. It's a false
Yeah.
dichotomy, essentially. And it's just, don't get stuck there, essentially. It's probably impossible to know the entirety. That's the most probable.
There you go. That's
Is that,
exactly it.
yeah,
There's
that's
no
what you're
way.
saying. So I'm very concerned about like the lengths and the depths that you're going to go to not that I'm concerned like versus like that you're a threat of any sort. It just
Oh no.
it makes me think like you are very 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 invested in what your plan is for like putting shit in stone. I've never
Oh,
met
dude,
anybody that's like legit about like, hey man, I'll put this shit in stone. I'm gonna do it in a few places.
I've already done
Whatever.
it. I just haven't perfected it yet. So I've done it on a cliff that's about 300 feet off the ground, off the river floor. But there's nobody in the world that's ever going to see this one. I don't think. So I need
Dang
to
it,
put it
dude.
in a
So I'm saying
place
we
that.
gotta get Nicolas Cage involved in like so are you gonna like sneak it over there to like Hollywood to make sure that like a movie gets made
No.
about it and it's gonna be lore?
So it'll be the Grand Canyon, it'll be Yosemite, and it'll be the Black Rock Canyon, which is the
Yosemite is
other.
legit, dude.
Oh, dude, and I
How
can't
are
do
you
it
gonna
in
get
the.
it under the geyser though?
Well, that's not going to be in the valley. I'm going to be in Tuolumne Meadows in a certain place that I have picked out. Probably Stately Pleasure Dome
And then
or
so are all of these pieces gonna be like legit puzzle pieces kind of thing?
No, you should be able to walk up to it and look at it and go, holy fuck, that's the world. It's not what I'd see the world being, but what are these lines? And anybody that knows anything is going to be able to go, oh, that's latitude and longitude lines. And then there'll be a key at the bottom that'll show you 15 degrees for every separation of these lines for
It's gonna
the
be a
circumference.
key, as in not a physical key, but like a map key or what, like a
Yeah,
legend.
legend. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
legend. A key that will show you 50 degrees for every one is the latitude and I'm sorry, the longitude, and then it'll be
Are you gonna make it so it like looks like it's more ancient, or is it gonna be like
no,
emojis?
so you've seen my map, right? You saw you haven't seen my drawing map. So I draw everything is hand drawn and all that because the way that the magnetic
Okay.
fields work, I can't use computer
You
generated.
like when you write words, is it in all caps like an architect?
No,
Okay, well that's a clue.
no, no. But yeah, I definitely wanted to leave a mark, and I don't think that I haven't seen any real information that really turned my head that was written in a journal or in a manuscript or anything that lasted on papyrus or anything like that. But
Right.
the things that I got my information from with all the solar, as far as the sun, megalithic structures, the moon, the stars, and all that were on literal stone, were carved in stone, written in stone, or literally
Right.
built out of stone. So that's why
Well,
I thought
that would be nice though. Like if you get all this shit done and then like you know shit hits the fan, but then it's not that bad. It's only like 20 years. It would be nice to have a thumb drive. Like, can you put like some backup easy stuff? Be like, hey, there's a thumb drive. There's like a piece of paper.
You could do
Or
like
maybe make it like a
you could do like a time
make it
capsule.
easy. Yeah.
You could you could, hey, you could
Make it
bury a
easy.
time capsule, copy all of your hand drawn stuff, and bury it in a time capsule with like the
And then
handwritten explanation, and then
100%.
put the coordinates for the time capsule underneath your
And then
rock
just
carving.
say
Well,
it in plain English
each one
instead
of
of
Fill
those
it with
making
things
it
have
Mr.
nitrogen,
Mysterious about
you
it.
fill it with nitrogen to preserve the paper. Yeah.
maybe
And
get
then
myself put a cherub to guard it for 1,000 years, something like
Yeah.
that.
and put like a joint in there also,
And a candle
and
with
a
a
lighter.
never ending flame that you have people go climb the mountain to go make sure the
I have one
flame
of those. I
stays
could do
lit.
that.
And maybe a
It's
multivitamin.
called the lights. That's called the lights of Thermitis, and I made one a long time
Yeah,
ago.
dude, totally put a multivitamin in there.
Wait, so you made a light that never ends, that never
You
extinguishes?
can't even put it out with. You can't. Well, no, you can extinguish it, but you can't put it out with water, and it'll last forever.
I like the multivitamin thing because it's like you're gonna need a boost after getting there. It sounds like.
Yeah, the multivitamin. That'd be great.
No, but
Um,
I literally did think about putting, like I said, a cache or something like that. But I was thinking more of just a USB stick that I would
Yeah.
literally take up there, and after I,
Well, it depends. Like by
carve-
that time, it's gonna be like USB like 20, and it
Well,
but
yeah,
it
would
don't matter.
but the thing is that one person finds it and then it's gone. You
have
wouldn't
to have
have anyone else
adapter
find it.
cable.
No, you have it. It's literally cemented into the wall to where you would have to take a USB.
Yeah, you
cable
put it
there.
into the. Yeah, you're gonna make it more
You
difficult.
would have to plug it in from the outside and it would never move.
Yeah.
Plug it into
Yeah.
the stone.
Yeah, they have them. I've
Dude,
actually
why you gotta
done
be
the
such a dick
geocaches
like
like
that?
You gotta be careful, dude. They've already made USB-C. They keep on changing it, bro. No one's
That's
gonna
what I'm
have a
saying. It's
dongle
gonna
for
be
that, you know?
USB. It's gonna be
Well, no, I'm not
USB
saying
Z.
that. I'm just saying you guys are saying I
Why
should
you
have something
leave
there.
the
And I
dongle
thought of that.
there?
Well, I guess
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like, okay, well, what they sent out the golden plate or platinum plated record in outer space apparently with this. It's like that's a burden on the aliens who would find it. Like, what the fuck is this?
Well,
Same
that's the
kind of an
beauty of it.
idea. Like, yeah,
That's the beauty of it, is
one
that
of the
they can do
technology they would
something.
totally be able to read this record. Like, no, they wouldn't. This is a
They
ridiculous
just start like
ask.
eating it, dude. They're just like, they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
you must eat this thing, and you'll gain the knowledge
they
from
love
it.
the feel of the grooves.
They think
Like,
it's a
no,
frisbee. They throw it.
that's a ridiculous
you
ask for the aliens who would find it.
you'd realistically
Yeah.
never do this. You'd realistically never do this record thing because there's a thing called the dark forest theory. Like animals just don't go
Exactly.
announcing. Animals just don't go announcing like, "Yo, I'm right here. Come see me." Like you're gonna get eaten. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one of the
I'm
reasons
sure
Right.
why they
there's
say we haven't seen any life is because people may be thinking that. You know what I'm saying? Like if there was other aliens and they could see us, they might not even come because it's like we're dangerous.
Oh, we'd
yeah,
enslave them, dude.
just think about if you were looking at
Yeah.
some inferior little ant or bug or something like that out in the universe, would we feel bad about destroying everything that they have in this world by stepping on them? Nope. I can just
Well, if
Not
they're
if
imagine.
you
actually
probe them
humans, if
first.
they're actually humans and our guardians and the outer ponders are like trading with us for maybe even for people, it seems like. But if there is some kind of like cooperation going on, there could be a more benevolent take on it, or they could psyop us with the depiction of all of these outer ponders. But it seems like that
Uh,
it might be a relationship going on that would be
right.
possibly.
Well, you know what? If I went over and I don't know you from anybody, but if I walked up to you and I gave you an 8-track cassette and I told you, here you go, buddy. Here's the history of the entire universe. Be like, what? The
But
Yeah,
now
fuck
we
real
are
have to
quick,
you
come up with
Dave.
an
supposed to
eight-track
do
Dave, I
with
only got
machine.
one
this?
Fuck.
second. I only got 1 second, Dave. You're always talking about outer ponders. Have you ever thought about upper ponders or under ponders?
Well, I don't know that anything can live on anything up there. I haven't seen any proof of that, but it does seem like there could be outer ponders for sure. Under ponders, underworlders. I made a whole. There's definitely underworlders. I would imagine, and there was at least.
Yeah, but what if our ceiling is their floor though, and it's like
That's
a
a
layer
possibility.
cake?
It's a concept. I haven't seen anything to say that seems like what it might be, but I'm not saying it's
Say-
impossible.
You saying they live on a curved surface, Jerry? They'd have a hard time building stuff there.
Hey, Jeremy, though, like,
Record
what
you
if,
guys,
Flat.
hey, what if
like
Star
Andy,
Trek?
record,
Hey, real quick,
the
what if
record you
Star
guys
Trek?
are
What if
talking
Star
about.
Trek was given? Real quick, what if Star Trek was giving us like the right information about the Prime Directive, and the Outer Ponders they're like not allowed to interfere unless we ask for their help. So if we all got together and asked the Outer Ponders to save us from the Illuminati, then they would have to like interfere like Star Trek and do something to help us.
Well, I have something against that, but I understand what you're saying. But it
No,
seems to me that
saying the upper.
The
all of the
record you
times
guys
that
are
we've had
talking about.
cataclysm, that we've
Not to build
seen
the
that
record
people
player.
have been helped. Somebody, whether it be sky people, people from the sea, they help them out.
I'm like Glober's talking.
Yeah, the record you guys are talking supposedly
You got a hot
has
mic there,
pictures
Cole?
on it. No, I'm talking.
You're breaking up a
Supposedly
little
it
bit,
has
Cole.
pictures.
You're breaking up a little bit.
I just want to say one thing real quick. Can
He's
you hear me
not.
any better? Now,
Yeah, we
can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me
now.
now?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead.
The record you guys are talking about is supposed to have instructions drawn on top of it on how to build the record player to play the record. That's what I've read about it.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing they psyoped us with.
Thank you for your input.
I like what that guy was saying earlier, though. You would never send out your location on a map and send them a map and say, "Here's your food, come eat us," or do whatever, and send it out to people we don't know. It doesn't purport to
Makes no
reality
sense.
of what
And
it is.
expect them to retrofit your technology.
Realistically.
It'd be like a bushman in Africa that's never had any
That's what I'm
contact with
saying.
like the
You
civilized world, like putting out drones everywhere that shows where they are.
Right, like where's my fucking
Exactly.
pizza, dude, in the middle of the Amazon?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. For multiple reasons, you'd never send out your location like that. Like, hey, come see us. Maybe they're nice, maybe they're not. But as far as the upper ponders, I'm talking about like if the ceiling's flat and then they just live on top of that.
Talking about the
Same thing
observers.
with the under ponders. No, the upper and the under ponders.
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, that does go along with the lore of like the ancient aliens coming from the sky, but I think it's just because they come up
Got it.
from the ocean and then they go to the sky. I don't know.
I think that we're looking at a bunch of different depictions of what people were trying to describe was happening, whether it be sky people, sea people, lizard people, people coming out of the ground, whatever the case may be. I think people were just trying to describe the same way you would if you took somebody from the Mayan civilization or from the Egyptian civilization and showed them a skyscraper. They'd be like, there was fucking crystal. They had crystal all the way, a half a mile up in the sky. They wouldn't understand what they were trying to
No,
Or
describe.
an
we actually
iPhone or
started.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually started real quick. We actually started religions like that during World War II. They're called cargo cults. We used to use these little
Who's
islands
we?
as way stations. America. I just assume everyone's America. So
Everybody's
America used to use
American.
these
So
little
well, you
islands as way
should.
stations.
Yeah.
We used to use these little islands as way stations, and we would show up. These people never saw anyone outside of their island. They're like primitive. We show up, we fly out of the sky, and I would agree with you, Dave. No matter where they come from, it's probably going to be from the sky, either way, because that's just the best way to travel.
Yeah. And
And we started religions there
Yeah, it doesn't
from
necessarily
the thing
mean
you're talking about.
they have like they live in the sky, but they could, even if it's outer ponders, they'd come like up from above. Sure.
They're going to come from the sky. Yeah.
right.
No, you
Yeah,
don't
like
like
No, I'm just
traveling
saying
by
to
boat,
the
dude?
last
just because somebody
to the
visits
last
your
point
town in
though.
a helicopter doesn't mean they're from
So
heaven.
submarines seem like a better form of travel. Like no one can track you, and so you know what I'm
That's
saying.
legit. That's legit. Now that needs to be
Air is the
explored
best
more.
way because air is the best way to travel. There's
Well,
no
how do you know?
air is everywhere.
Oh,
It's just from
I have
if
I
you're
have
here
an idea.
on this place, if you're here on this place, the air is the best way.
Jeremy, you know
What's up?
as well as I know, the best way to travel is without
Is
air.
air.
No, no.
Without air.
It's called
What's up?
I have an entire device. I just need scientists to develop it. It's called the combobulator. It comes in two parts. There's a decombobulator and the recombobulator.
I don't know if
I
this is
just
from a movie or what plot you're
Yeah, and I
Oh,
describing.
just need to figure out. I need to hire the right scientists to make it work.
you're talking about teleportation.
I wouldn't call it that. I would call it combobulation.
Combobulation.
And
No, the
and
discombobulator.
recombobulation. You know when you're driving
Discombobulator is
down.
what they use. The discombobulator is what they used in Venezuela when they went in and captured the president.
Right, but the key is to have the recombobulator. Make sure it all works. So that's where the money's at. The money's in the recombobulation. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you want to be recombobulated? Work it over.
Sounds painful.
You know those things
But
when
yeah.
you go driving down the interstate sometimes and you see like a wide load with like a cover over it or whatever the weird
I don't know. I feel
object is.
like this
That's part of
combo's
the
going off the
decombobulator.
rails.
Yeah,
I feel like this is going off the rails here.
it
Maybe
is. It is.
Oh,
let's
I
get
didn't
back on
start
track.
going off the rails at Outer Ponder.
It is. So yeah,
We're at upper
bring it back on, bring it
ponders
back
and under
on, bring it
ponders.
back on track.
I can't believe you guys kept me on here until the sun came up. That's crazy.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I'm still trying to get all of the details of the Grand Master Plan. You're not one of those motherfuckers that did like the Georgia Guidestones, though, right? You don't want to do anything like that, or it's like, I should probably be dead and reincarnated before I view that, not while I'm still above the ground, kind of thing.
What do you mean I'm not for the Georgia Guidestones. Anything that they say on it, no, not at anything.
Well, they're
I
destroyed
don't
now.
think I don't think they need to be. Me personally, I didn't think they need to be destroyed either. I don't agree with what they're saying, but I have nothing to do with the Georgia Guidestones. I can tell you that much.
Well, I'm not saying that you had anything.
I mean, that was
to do with it,
America's really own. That was America's really own, our only megalithic, other than the Mount Rushmore. Inside the United States. I know there's shit in Mexico, but other than
it
that, I don't
was
think we
there
had
for
any
a while,
megalithic.
right?
Other than that, I don't think we had any megalithic stuff.
Yeah.
Do we?
And it
Yep.
was like
Stones,
private
like
land and
megalithic
shit.
stones.
Yep. I think it was put there in the 90s? Maybe it was the 80s. I think it was
Yeah,
the 90s.
could have been. Anyway, it was kind of weird. So, what are your plans? For any? Do you have any plans like shit like that? Because that seemed to me kind of weird. And maybe if I can steer you in the
Do what?
direction of not doing that kind of thing, that'd be cool.
You're
Why would I
steering this
have any
combo into a
plans?
weird direction. I
I
don't
don't
know
have any
why.
plans to do
Maybe
anything
just
like
say,
that.
Jeremy, we got Abraham Lincoln in a chair, bro. What are you talking about? No megalithic structure.
that's not a
No, dude.
solid piece of stone, though, is it?
No,
No, it was
he's gonna be
poured.
able to do whatever he
Mega, dude.
wants.
Sugar cookie. Just hold on a second.
Okay.
What did you say, Tor?
I was saying
Yo,
it's
Scott, I need
mega.
you to
I mean,
just
then you talk about like the
hold
Grand
on a second.
Canyon. The Grand Canyon's pretty big. It's like real grand.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like pyramids, Göbekli Tepe, like some kind of giant megalithic carved thing that we made.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that
dude.
we made,
No,
like humans
E1 is
made.
like 10 times above what you've even thought about.
Yeah,
What?
humans, not like I know we do have stuff made out of dirt, like mounds and stuff, but there's no like stone megalithic things other than Mount Rushmore and Göbekli Tepe or the Georgia Guidestones.
Well, they don't
Well,
let
there
us
are.
uncover those mounds.
I just
Go
I
ahead,
was
said.
going
Pete.
to say there are some in the Grand Canyon that me and you haven't seen that are Egyptian-esque, that are carved either statues or fascias like Petra or whatever you want to, that type of a formation. But we can't go there.
And the thing, so for the late comers, what you want to do is like put like the code of your beliefs like in certain spots. Is that
Right,
kind of
in
like
the
a
Grand
really
Canyon, in Yosemite, and in the Black, what is it called, the Black Rock Canyon or Black Canyon? It's like the other Grand Canyon up in Montana, or maybe it's,
and so
can't remember
then
exactly.
you wanna
Anyway,
put some shit in fucking stone, and I'm like, fuck you,
I want to start.
asshole.
Yeah, why? It's in a
Write
place
it
that
down.
nobody's ever going to be. I climb out in the middle of nowhere up on 1,000-foot cliffs. I take my own, there's no bolts. I don't put any bolts in anything. I use my own traditional gear, cams, nuts, tri-cams, and slings. And I rope solo up this shit, and I know exactly where I want to put this thing to where it's not going to be in any pathway of any trail system that's for tourists or anybody's really going to see this. You're just going to have to come across it for the simple fact of why I put it where it
Are
is.
you gonna like align it with like the fucking summer solstice or some shit too?
No,
Why not?
no,
But
because
like
it would
drill a
be
hole in it and
it would be nice to be able to put them all together to where that, like what you're saying, they would
dude, why
correlate
not?
together. But it would take a lot to do that and to be able to
So it's
find
gonna take a
find
lot
a
to do
place.
whatever the fuck you're doing anyway. Why
No,
not just go the extra
I'm
mile and
saying
make it
the
align?
mathematics and to figure out where the GPs, the
Well,
latitude and
and
longitude of where you would put it would not.
oh,
It would take too much.
oh, it's gonna take too many thinking powers of your brain. Fuck you, do that.
Well, I
If
think
you're gonna go to the
I've done
lengths that
enough,
you're going
dude.
to,
I've done enough. I've came up with a map and the celestial triangulation
yeah,
tool, and
I
I've got it
know,
all the mathematics
dude.
figured out.
Polish
And
it.
I've already done the overlays, and I figured out how I'm going to sandblast it onto the side of the rock and how I can take it up with my own
Yeah,
compressor and everything that's all battery packed and all this kind of fucking shit. I think I've done a lot.
you have done a lot, but what you
Okay,
need to
there
do
we go.
is
That's all I
finish it
wanted to hear.
off for the presentation layer that you haven't thought
I think
about.
it's pretty finished off. I just don't think I need to. I because just think about
Like,
this.
do you have a riding lawnmower?
Yes, I do. As a matter of
Does it
fact,
have a cup holder in it?
yes, it does.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. The cup holder for this.
Mine has lights, actual headlights that can
Okay,
turn.
well, so that's what I'm talking about. It has air ride, when you bump
I
up
don't
and
have that.
down.
I don't have that, but yeah,
You
I
have
understand.
okay. Well, the cup holder is a good analogy.
the option.
as you're doing the thing, put the cup holder on it for everybody. You know, like the cup holder is aligned, like drill a hole in the fucking stone so it aligns with the moon on like
Well,
some
no, what I was
weird
going to,
day.
as far as that goes, I wasn't going to do it like that. It was going to be to where every one of the three, because it's the Trinity, that has how everything
Uh,
works with the Trinity and the magnetic field, the
One, two,
electromagnetic field, and the
three.
conscious field. Okay, so there's going to be three of them, and each one of them is going to have the location in latitude and longitude, not just in minutes, but in decimal points, and then in, I can't remember
Yeah.
what it is. It's like
So you're gonna
KY.
make it as confusing as fucking possible. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, to where somebody can literally walk up to these things, see these three panels of
And
depictions of
then
what I'm
read it in
seeing.
English and say,
No,
"Hi,
mathematics.
I'm an
In mathematics.
asshole.
No, no, no,
Go to
no.
the other one."
In mathematics, in the actual time of GP of latitude and longitude, it'll have the coordinates for the other two. So you know they can just look at
Right.
this and go, okay, there's another two of these as far as two latitude and longitude coordinates. What's there? And when they get
Okay.
there, there'll be the exact replica of what they have there, and it'll depict everything except it'll have the exact coordinates opposite of what they just came from. It won't have their so all three of
Okay.
them connect together.
Hold up. So, I come through. This is like some sort of random traveler, just say,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I go happen on the first one, whatever the first one
Yes.
is.
It's all the same. They're all three of them are the exact same panels, and there's three
Okay.
panels for each one
Okay.
of the
Perfect.
locations.
And
Okay.
so I go, uh, this one says numbers.
Well,
And I
no, no,
go,
no. Hold on,
fuck
hold on,
off.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
I
on.
shoot it
You're
with my
looking at
shotgun and fuck it off.
No, you're looking at one panel that looks like a map of the world, except
Uh-huh.
it looks depicted differently. It's the dual pole map. And then the
Yeah.
panel below that is going to explain it split out between the latitude lines, the
It's
longitude
gonna,
lines, and the map itself. As far as you're going to
how
look,
is it going to explain it?
it's literally separated. So instead of having
No,
just
it's
a
not.
map,
It's going to explain it in
visually.
pictures.
It's literally going to be a map. So you have one panel, the big panel that's 4x4 with a map with the latitude longitude lines
Mhm.
already on top of it, engraved into it. The
Okay.
next panel will have the map just by itself, only the
Okay.
map. And then the next panel with it's a 4x4, but only
Is this
one.
going from top to bottom?
Yes, from top
Okay.
to bottom.
Kind of
And
like a
so the next
landing
one,
page.
kind of almost like a comic book or comics. You
Okay.
one panel to the next panel, and the
I got
next
you.
panel will have,
Right on.
like I said, separated out to where you just see the latitude lines. You just on the next little portion of that panel, it's just the longitude lines, and then right
Uh-huh.
underneath that, it's just the map itself, to where you can see that I've separated these overlays instead of just being one. Now this is the depiction, and it'll literally have 15 degrees on the legend for that latitude,
Ah.
15 degrees for that, literally number 15 with the degree on the longitude overlays. You
Oh,
can
okay. So literally the number 1-5.
Yes, it's all
Okay.
mathematics, it's all geometric shapes, so that you
Okay.
understand the cycle of the analemma. You
Are
look to
you
the
also
west.
going to give reference in
That-
some
that-
way to decipher?
well, that's the next panel. The next panel is going to have the
All right.
geometric shapes of the analemma, so everybody knows the figure eight, whether it be infinity.
Like strippers know the figure eight. You know,
Every
that's like the
no, every
basic, most
culture,
basic
no culture,
mathematical
not a
thing is the
person,
figure eight.
not personality, not what you believe personally, what every culture derives to these things.
How are they
The
going to know the number 5?
Because every culture
Figure
uses
eight.
numbers the same, even
Figure eight
China,
is
India,
sideways.
but the
It's
figure eight
infinity.
No,
there you
no,
go,
not all cultures
infinity.
use it the same.
No, but there's two definitions for the infinity sign. It's either a continuous cycle or it's infinity. There's no
We came up with that.
description.
Humans came up with
What's the
that. You know that, right?
difference?
No,
No,
I'm saying
no,
when I
yeah.
look back through all the different cultures and you start looking at like the sky cross. The sky cross is the analemma, the infinity symbol with the Abrahamic religion put on top of it. That's why it works the way it
Well,
does. and
The
shows you
Romans
that.
used the letter V for the number 5, so not all cultures use the number 5.
I don't think he said that.
I
I
Yeah, he
wasn't.
said
said
all
that.
cultures use the numbers. So
I said number.
I know, but he
He
said the
didn't.
15 degrees. So I'm just curious how
Oh
somebody's going to
yeah,
use that
yeah,
for 5.
15.
No, I'm saying if you go to China or even if except okay, yeah, you go to ancient cultures, they were going to use Roman numerals, and sometimes they didn't even use that. It was just sticks as far
Yep.
as lines, and then crossed over. I understand that, but I'm saying you can see that even if you go to a Chinese language or culture, they used numbers. They would understand what a 1, a 5, a 6, a 7, even all the way back to uh, the biblical times. The
No.
year. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how they came. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't argue with somebody when they say that. I'm sorry. But
That's all good.
No,
even
you're
in
fine. You're fine. I don't
I
think they
think
use
that's
the
a
number
legit
5. Yeah.
that's a
even
legit
the number
question.
0.
However, I
I'm
don't think we really need to get into the weeds about the number 5 at this point
No, that's
because
why
of
they use stick symbols on
the
the.
entirety of what we're talking about is, I think, a little more,
I was just
you
trying to
know.
get to the point that I'm using mathematics instead of a language. I'm not trying to explain what I'm talking about in a language, whether it be English, Chinese, Hebrew, or whatever. I'm just using my panels as an actual geometric shapes that you can equate
Yeah,
to
yeah.
whatever you see in the sky, and then mathematics, so that
Right on.
there is
That's
no
cool.
trying to get away
I
from it.
can I
That's
can sense a little bit of an elevation in like you feel like you might be being challenged. I think that's okay for being
no, I'm
challenged or
not being.
whatever, but I want you to be able to go through this and walk me through it. And that's cool for anybody else, I think, too, to ask questions along the way. Are you
For
cool with
sure.
that?
Yeah, and I don't feel challenged because you can't really
Okay, good.
challenge what my opinion is. I mean, it's my
Right,
opinion.
sure,
But
sure.
I don't feel challenged is what I'm trying to
Okay,
say.
good, good. Because along this way, I mean, it's I've never talked to anybody that has a plan as grand as this. And so
Oh,
I just want to make sure that,
that's not the
I mean,
grand
I
plan,
might
dude.
piss you off. I mean, and you're feel free to give me shit right back too. And I
No, no,
feel like that
no.
we have a
I
pretty good,
appreciate you saying that. That you feel
yeah.
like I have a grand plan. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, man. Right on. Okay, so where did we leave off?
I don't know. I think we left off
Oh, then
somewhere.
15 degrees in stone.
Oh, on the second panel would have the separation of the map that I'm showing with the three different panels that were smaller, but they would
Wait, what map are you
show.
showing? Are you putting something in like live chat or?
No, I'm just saying my map, my dual pole map that
Oh,
has
okay.
the latitude and longitude on the north and south
Oh, okay.
depiction of the world.
Have you posted that earlier?
Uh, I think New
At
Perspective
least
did.
your
I haven't
ideas.
posted.
Yeah, that'd be
I've
cool. Can
posted
you
them
just, if New Perspective could kind of repost the things from
Yeah, I already
you?
sent you the hand drawing. Is that what you're talking about? I sent it to your DM as well as posted it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people that aren't up to speed with it, but so a new post would be, I don't know,
Yeah, I can post it again. I also sent it to your
legit.
I
I
am
mean,
DM.
bad about that.
I don't want to put you out. This
I
motherfucker's
am bad
doing
about
like
that. I
big
don't
time
have any of
shit.
the information on
Okay,
this phone.
well, when you're
So
done eating your sandwich, it's fine. All right, E1, go ahead.
no,
I
I
just
was saying
reposted it. You're all set.
okay. But so after the second panel that would separate everything up to where you'd have the overlays to where I think that people will be able to understand what I'm getting at,
What do you
that
mean
this is the world.
overlays?
So you would have two different panels. If you look at my map or look at what I'm depicting the Earth to be, I show the geographic location of all the terrestrial land masses. There's a map. Well, take away the circles, the latitude lines and the longitude lines. Take that off of it, And each one of those is an overlay. You have the latitude lines, which are circles around the northern pole, and then the southern pole, or whether you want to call it Polaris or Sigma Noctantis or whatever. You've got circles that go around each one of them. That's your latitude lines. The longitude lines look like almost an apple or a
Right. They're not
a
exactly up and down.
right. They go from north to south pole, but they connect in
They
an
take a
arc
they take a
depending on.
kind of a curve. So it's all like basically, if you would consider it the center of that, would you consider the center of that concentric circles, or is that, or am I leading you in the direction that
It's
you
the
don't want?
axis of the it's the axis of the or not circumference. Hold on. It's the axis of the spin of the magnetic field, whether it be the
Okay.
northern or the sun, or that's what you're.
So does
That's
that
what you're.
magnetic field spin go in three directions?
It goes in the northern quadrants. It goes clockwise. In the southern quadrants, it goes counterclockwise. But it is the same direction because they meet up in the middle, going from east to west across the field, no matter what. Every all the time. I mean, not everywhere,
Okay.
but
Well, that
all the
doesn't
time. But
answer my. I mean,
no,
I
but these
think
are
you
overlays.
tried
So
to
I've
answer
taken,
it.
so I'm taking, and you see one panel is just a map. There's no overlays of as far as there's no
Okay.
lines of latitude and longitude. Then the next panel, as far as still panel 2, but just a smaller little part of the panel, you see the overlay of just the latitude lines. And then the next part below that, it's just the overlay of the longitude lines that you can
And
see
so
if
they're highlighted, right? So like it's
not
like an
highlighted,
oval
but just
highlighted, or
yes, there you, yes,
okay.
exactly. So you can see that I've separated out the map that I had on the first panel, down on the
Uh,
second panel, everything's out. And then the third panel will have all the symbology that I'm depicting, whether it be the pyramid, the
and
Sigma of
so
Pisces, all of
so let
this
me
would
ask
be
you this
explained
along the
by
way
all of
here.
that.
The highlighted ovals, like on different parts of the circle.
Yes.
What do the highlighted ovals represent? Is it
The
like
long,
this is where the light is, or is this just where you're saying
no,
this is what
so
I'm
each one
talking
of
about
those
right
is
here?
each one of those would be the actual 30 degree, 60 degree. Maybe it's 15 degrees. It's probably 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and then 90 as far as how it is split up. If it's not, it's 30 degrees separation to where if I'm sitting on, it doesn't matter where you're at. But let's say you're sitting on the
Okay.
celestial equator and you're looking north to the North Pole. If you had a sextant or a quadrant at those lines is where you would be. Let's say it's a 30-degree line. If you were at that line on that first one and it's 30 degree, you're going to use your sextant or your quadrant, and Polaris is going to be measure out exactly at 30 degrees at that line all the way
Okay.
around.
Hold up. I don't disagree with you. And the reason why I don't disagree with you, because I can't track what it is you're actually saying.
Okay, so if you look at those circles, the circles that go around the northern pole or
Okay,
the
hold
circles
on.
that go around the southern
Hold
pole.
on. You have a bad. So new perspective. He's on the clock, but he's eating a sandwich. You know what I mean? You need yourself your own slideshow, basically, and hit your graphics don't represent what you're trying to say. I'm trying to tell you that the entire time. But I mean,
Okay,
What
look
the
at
hell
what
are
I'm
you
you're
talking
okay.
graphing.
So
about? It seems
let's
like
So
you're
I'm
a
zoom
little
out. Can
graphing.
drunk.
we zoom out from this? Can we zoom back out? And you have the reasons for your thoughts, obviously, and they're well thought out. With
You're getting a little. Hey, sugar cookie.
you told
You're
me all
getting a
of the
little
things.
incoherent. You're getting a little incoherent, bro. You might want to take 5.
So that last image that you're showing though shows the depiction of what I was saying. It's separation of 15 degrees for each one of those circles. So each one of those circles is representative where you're at on the plane of existence as a relation to if you were looking at either Sigma Noctantis if you're in the southern quadrants, or if you're in the northern, it'd be the Polaris. That you can literally use a sextant anywhere along those lines. And if you're on that 15-degree line or the 0 line or the 30-degree line, That's what you're going to get. That's the measurement you're going to get when you look at Polaris or the area of Sigma Noctantis.
Okay. That's what I want to zoom out from.
Okay.
I want to zoom out from that to more along the lines of etching shit in stone for future people to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, I'm not trying to make people understand. It's just that I know that I'm not going to leave my mark on this world by any word of mouth or me talking to somebody in Discord or even leaving a journal that somebody will find or read maybe at some point that
How do you know that?
because I am not going to leave anything like that, or I don't think that I'm going to be perceived or taken as to where people are going to take my words or my ideas and run with them and everybody's going to hear about them. But what will happen is there's going to be 3 places on this plane of existence in the Grand Canyon, in Yosemite, and in the Black Rock Canyon that is going to have my mark that is going to be pretty hard for people to get rid of. They can. People can go and chisel it off and do whatever they want, but you got to find it first.
Well,
And
can I just? I mean, this is all going to be a peaceful thing, right? You're not going to be like all wonky about what you're
no,
doing.
and I'm putting them in places that aren't going to, mess with any falcon nest, not any type of, I'm not going to try and overlay over any uh, Indian Indian carvings or
Okay,
Indian.
well, like actual living people are going to be okay as well, right?
Right. What do you mean? I'm talking about rappelling or climbing up a cliff out in the middle of
Okay,
nowhere in a
okay.
place and carving it into rock. That's all I'm talking about.
Right on. I hope you're going to be safe doing that.
Well, that's why I've started doing all my climbing. Well, not for that
Yeah.
specifically, but be
Have
able
you
to.
like checked your grip strength and shit like that?
Dude, I climb in Yosemite. I go and do 1,500 foot climbs, fully hanging off into space with exposure that you couldn't even imagine. So I'm pretty sure I'll be okay climbing 300 feet up off the ground,
Well,
chiseling shit.
excuse me for asking.
Well, I'm just saying I've definitely I've got the skills and the ability to do it. That's for sure.
Good, good. And it sounds like you have formulated a worldview that you want to make sure that everybody else at least knows about it.
Well,
You don't
not
seem
so
like
that
you don't seem to me like you're evangelical or what about it. Like
no,
you don't necessarily need to push it. You're just kind
no,
of
and
like
it's not for
saying
everybody.
about it. Yeah.
I don't care for everybody to know about this either because the information that derives from this, if people will get to the point of getting away from that the earth is flat and that they need to prove that the earth isn't a ball and all this kind of stuff and what all this actually means, that's the type of person I'm hoping that this information gets to. Because to me it doesn't, I don't even care about the shape of the earth or that I can plot my GP or anything. It's what happened and what I figured out or what I think I've started to realize after that pretty much is connected with everything that goes along with, whether it be the flat earth, the moon landing, the governmental secret societies, and the way that everybody is pretty much controlled from time immemorial. That's what I think the whole point of it is. But that's a totally different subject. But yes, I'm not trying to get my flat Earth or my depiction of the Earth model to everybody, and not even everybody that sees this carving in the rock. Do I think everybody will even give it 2 seconds of thought? But there's going to be those people that are going to look at that and go, "What the fuck?" And they might take the few seconds it would take for a semi-intelligent person to figure out what I'm talking about and maybe go, "Oh." That's all I'm
Maybe
hoping.
go, oh, hey, somebody can, like, if I ran across that, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to need to get somebody else to figure this shit out.
I didn't hear the ending part. You said you ran across something and what? What would you
No,
say?
if I were to run across that, I would be smart enough to be able to say, oh, hey, I'm going to need to get somebody else to figure this shit out.
And maybe that's true.
What it sounds
Yeah,
like.
you're right. No,
You know what I
no,
mean?
there might be a lot of people, but there aren't. See, I'm under the impression that there is 90% people in this world, or I shouldn't say that. 70% of the people in this world are NPCs. They're
Well, yeah, you're
walking
going
through
with
this
the
world
Pareto's
without.
principle.
They don't have any clockwork going on, no real understanding of the reality. They just get up, wash their face, take a shit, eat, work, do whatever. They don't care about anything that's really going. When you ask them questions, they don't know why they answer the way they do, all this kind of stuff. But there's a
Yep.
small percentage of the people that literally have intelligence. And I would think that no matter if you're a baller or a flat earther, if you're in here actually talking about these things, whether it's vehemently saying that the earth is round or vehemently saying that the earth is flat, you at least have the cognitive reasoning or understanding that something is not adding up, whether whichever side it is that you're on, you're questioning things. Well, those are the people that I think are going to benefit, whether they believe it or not. I just think that if you can connect this information with the, whether you want to call it esoteric spiritualism of how we are, what your conscious is, how the world works, how just the connection between everything that you have as far as plants, the connection between the electromagnetic and the magnetic fields, all of it seems to me to be explained when you do put everything in reality within inside of these fields, whether it be the electric field, the magnetic field, or the conscious field. And when you put all three of them together, it really starts to show me what these panels or what these things I'm trying to carve into the rock should direct you towards your end conclusion. But I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying that's what I'm trying to
Of
do with it.
course, right. So I think I have two more questions. I mean, the conversation can go on after that with
Good.
other people,
Do it.
maybe. Number one, are you on drugs?
What kind of drugs?
Yes or no?
Well, no, it depends on what you call a
I mean,
drug.
because there's not a lot of people that think like you do openly
What? I don't believe you. Everybody
on
believes the way I do.
right. No, seriously. Are you like oh hey, this is inspired by my
No,
or whatever.
like the stuff I'm talking about with the esoteric and the machine that I built with the voltmeter or the ohms meter with the silver and the magnesium to where I can measure people's energy. That was all
Mhm.
derived from a dream, not from drugs. I literally had a dream about that I was hooked up to a machine. I couldn't read the readings of it all, but I could tell that there was a different material on my left hand than there was on my right hand. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what any of it meant. And then I figured out that, holy crap, I can actually measure my own biomass or my bioelectricity if I put my electrodes on either my hands or my feet or the back of my neck and my feet. And then if I started using all these different materials,
Well,
silver,
that's kind of
magnesium,
a known thing though.
but not like this. I didn't understand that I can literally go and like check me and check my brother, and we're completely different as far as the voltage, not amperage, but voltage as far as what the voltage we can kick up.
So you're
I
putting
have
pads. So what are we
Go ahead.
talking about now?
I'm just saying that all of the things that I'm talking about as far as how it all works together, um, it seems to work with an all of it has to do with electromagnetics, whether you think of it as a
Okay.
field of the way the stars move in the sky, the way that the construction of your face and why we all have two eyes and nose that drops down and then our mouths separate, converge and diverge as far as the way that the movement of the magnetic field across your face, the same way across your chest is
So
you
you
have
think
two
there's kind
nipples.
of like a fractal nature of how
Yes.
things work
Everything.
and what
Everything.
we observe and how we are as humans. Is that kind of like summing it up?
Kind of, yes. And it
Kind
just
of,
comes
right.
down to getting away from trying to just say that the end goal is to prove that the earth is flat or that we're not on a
No,
ball.
no, no. That's I
Because
don't want to pin you in any kind of like thing like
no,
that.
no, I'm saying that's
That's
the whole point, is to get away from that, because the end goal
right.
is not to me is not to prove that the earth is flat or to show you this is the map that you need to use to figure out where you are. It's to give you to me, it gives me an understanding of not only just the meaning of life, but how it all works. How
Okay.
everything, not just me and you, not just the plants and how they grow, not just how the universe works, but everything within our realm that we call reality, why it works its way and why it interacts with everything, um, might be able to be explained with what I'm
Okay.
talking.
Question number 2.
Go ahead.
What's your social security number?
5274413. 5 2.
Wrong.
I
Wait,
gave
what
him.
was the last one? Say it again.
5 2. 5 2.
Okay. I think that probably it was just a joke question. I didn't expect you to answer that.
I just had to remember how many numbers there were in a social security number.
Obviously, it doesn't matter to somebody that's going to carve their entire philosophy into. So let's. Is this a spot where I can go into, like I walk into a thing and find your thing, and then what happens next, or should it be a thing where at a point where we open this up to somebody else to speak with you?
Oh, I don't care. I don't think anybody else is speaking, but you can, whatever.
It looks like Nathan, he's a guest guy and he's unmuted, so I'll yield to whoever wants to speak next.
Well, thanks for the questions, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, really good talking with you for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Nathan, you mind? All right. So you're saying you want to get away from the flat Earth, globe Earth topic, right? I mean, I guess this is something that is more important or tantalizing to you right now. I just don't see, and this is my personal opinion, I don't see the need of getting away from flat Earth when it hasn't been accepted. And the only thing people have to accept is that it's measured that way. That message, which is strong, we can see how people are, bracing against it, not wanting to hear it at all, even though it's just flat out true. People haven't accepted that. You want to get away from that. Why?
No, I don't want to get
You
away
can
from
do
it.
what
I
you're
was saying
doing
that I
and
wasn't.
okay.
I'm not trying to get away from it, though. I just wanted you to understand that. It's not that I'm saying I want to get away from the flat Earth. I'm saying the end goal to me is not to prove that the Earth is flat, because it's what I feel that I moved on to after I realized that the Earth can only be flat. Whether you believe that the shape is what I believe it is, or you think it's an AE model or whatever, it's definitely flat. And that's not what my argument is anymore. It's that the reasons that I came up with, as far as in my own personal feeling of how I describe it, as far as how it works and it's flat, is literally thrown to the side when you really start thinking about, well, if this is what they're hiding from us, and it's not just one. Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking. I'm going on. Go ahead. What you were saying?
Hiding? Who's hiding anything? And how do you know Earth is flat? Tell me.
Well, it's not so much that I know. That's what I have shown to myself from everything that I've been talking about, shown, made, the models I've made, the terrestrial celestial triangulation tool I invented. All of it shows me, if I'm using trigonometry, and I'm using actual fucking observations, and I'm literally using trigonometry to do this, it can only be done on a flat plane.
Okay.
Straight Mike, there, Nathan.
Yeah, this is hey, real quick, Ewan. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Nathan Oakley comes and does his show. I mentioned this earlier. So you're getting questions from his panel about your stuff that I'll post all the unlisted cuts of my sessions with Ewan explaining his conceptual dual pole flat Earth and reasons why he came up with it and all that. If anyone's interested, but Nathan, are you there? Are you trying to start your show, or you get a? I appreciated your interview, Nathan. By the way, I liked your interview with Eric Dubé. That was a good one.
Oh, thank you. Actually, we're probably going to round out shortly, but no, my intention was actually to be in a different server today, but when I arrived, I won't go into it. I've ended up being in here for whatever reason, and the majority of the show wasn't involving the Discord server, and for the last little bit, it is now. So thank you very much.
Is this the
Yes,
after
I am
show, or is this
also
the end of
elated.
your actual show? Is this the after show now, or?
No, we're still live. This is actually live.
Right on. Hello, everybody.
You're saying hello to the people in the audience.
Well, shut up, New Perspective. Keep this conversation going. I think, yeah, go for it.
I do have one question for you guys, if that's okay.
Please.
Can you guys say like north and south? About an hour ago, you guys were talking about a polar description of rotation in the north and in the south. And there was a question from a globe believer that was like, why is there a difference on a flat Earth? Can you guys remember that or recall that from about an hour ago, first of all?
I don't remember the question, but what do you mean by when you're saying in the north, when you're looking how it's different from the south? What do you mean by what's different from looking north?
That was the question
I'm
that was
not.
posed by the globe believer. So there's a question of the flat earther to explain how the star rotations work north and south. That was essentially, if I'm correct, the spirit of the question being asked by somebody who is, from what I could glean, a globe believer. I just had a follow-up question in regards to that in general, aimed at everybody in the Discord server. The question being, do you know what north and south are when measured?
Question to everybody?
Yeah, anybody who wants to answer. Or if I anticipate
that was a
getting
discussion
protracted time,
earlier.
so I've got a follow-up question if I don't get an answer from anybody, so I can lead you a bit if necessary.
Sure. And I'm the dumbest motherfucker here, by the by.
Okay, well let's aim it at you then, Sugar Cookie.
If you look at how the sun is moving to our sky, and you know that it only has a dip and a rise in the northwest to west part, then you know you're just on one side of that sun.
Okay, but what is north? I'll lead you. If I asked you to point north,
that is your north, that northwest to west, where that sun dips, that is your true north.
So I would have to answer a little differently. I would say, what north are you asking about, and what are you pointing at to use? So there's three different norths. There's a true north, there is a celestial north, or a true north, a magnetic north, and then a celestial north. So you're looking at three different ways when you say north, because if I point north and I'm pointing at the North Pole, as far as the Polaris, that is not the magnetic north, and it's also not the geographic north. And if I'm pointing at the magnetic north, I'm depending on where I'm at, I can be 13 degrees off from Polaris or from geographic north for the magnetic north, and neither one of them equate with the others. As far as if I'm pointing at magnetic, do you see what I'm saying?
okay, so when you say you're 13 degrees off, what you mean by that is you're 13 degrees off in the horizontal orientation when you're pointing in a particular direction, horizontally.
From the compass, not orientation, but your compass. So if I point the compass to north, okay, as far as the compass itself, you literally, if you're going to correlate that with any type of either navigation or plotting in any way on a map, you literally have to turn your map 13 degrees or whatever your declination is for your magnetic declination of where you're at. You have to turn your map before you can start plotting or start putting anything down. But
Right.
that doesn't have anything to do with when you say, am I pointing north? Because are you talking about north of a compass, north on the geographic plane of existence north, or whether you think you're on a ball pointing up to geographic north, or are we talking about Polaris north? So
Well, hang
that's
on. Is
all.
this a fucking pop quiz or something? Because
No, he's asking
like,
about
is it?
because
He's
people were
is it?
asking these questions in
Nathan?
his show.
Nathan.
Well, when you say you rotate the map, you're rotating the map through the horizontal. When you describe the differences, all of them, there was one exception. You suggested that on a ball, no, there is only horizontal degrees when you're talking about orientation with directionality ascribed to north.
Right. No. I'm saying if you're
Horizontal.
pointing north, you're saying, like I would say that you're pointing north, but you're not pointing at the geographic north when you're pointing at the magnetic north. If you're on a ball, you would say that you're pointing magnetic north all the time. No matter if it's geographic north, it's all the same. But that's not true because geographic north and magnetic north literally diverge or they move away from each other in sometimes matters of 12 to 13 miles per year. So that's what I mean by if you're on a ball. I wasn't trying to equate the whole thing with everything I was talking about with that. It would be different for the ball. Just that pointing of the pointing of north as opposed to which one you're talking about on a ball. Because on a flat plane or I'm not sure if it'd work on the AE map, but on mine, you literally point at a different angle or a different place, no matter who the observer is or where they're at, depending on which north you're talking about. If you're talking about geographic north.
I gotcha. I heard you the first two times you've said it, but both or all
I
three.
apologize. Dude. I'm sorry. Wow, dude. Okay. Go ahead.
I was you just talked through the middle of me after hearing you say the same thing twice. When you point north, it's a horizontal orientation. Regardless of which north you're going to point at or suggest that there's a difference, it's horizontal. Always. If you're describing it with respect to a ball, it's azimuth and altitude. The altitude angle is with respect to the equatorial plane if you're describing Polaris for the system, but the azimuth is horizontal, always. All descriptions of these directions are horizontal. So when I say point north, my point, no pun intended, is that the orientation of how you point will be in the horizontal. Regardless if you suggest that one of the tools being utilized is an absolute direction or a defined direction with a tool like magnetic field lines or a star, the orientation that you point is and can only be horizontal.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. So when we get to the let's move south, we're traveling horizontally when we decide what that means as a convention. If we're going to move in a southward direction, and that's north, regardless of if that's north, then 180 degrees in the horizontal with respect to that direction is south. It's a horizontal planar direction that you will travel using this
No,
convention.
the only problem is the way that you're talking about moving from north to south, and that's what I was trying to get at with the whole. If you're, as far as the way I'm trying to explain it, not say that you're saying it wrong or anything. I'm just saying if you cross in a magnetic field and the way that I'm putting the grid on the map, when you cross over from the north to the south or the south to the north, you literally have the field, the flux lines of that magnetic field are literally pointed out like exactly like they depict on the map. Whereas when you're looking at that your position is on, like, let's say Australia or you're in Egypt, you're literally, when you say you're pointing north on when you're talking about crossing down and you're going horizontal, of course, if you're exactly on the prime meridian, but the minute you move either positive or negative on that prime meridian to where you're over by Australia or even over towards America, you literally have to where what we're talking about, it's not just horizontal. I just said okay because it really just irked me the way that you were like, dude, you said it twice. Well,
Well,
I'm sorry.
can I,
I'm
can
Yeah,
I
but it
say,
has to
can,
do with the
Go ahead.
radial climb of our
I
sun when
interrupted
it's
before you
moving
did?
in
And
those two arcs.
Nathan, I want to get in. But check this out. I didn't hear Nathan talking about movement. I heard him talking about in the offset when you're gonna decide what a direction is. When you've figured out what convention you're gonna go with, which north you're gonna go with, 180 degrees from that, whatever it is how you will be describing south. 180 degrees from north, which is a horizontal description.
Precisely.
He didn't oppose anything you said. That was more like a red herring, if you ask me.
Just to conclude, any directionality, if you're going to move in a direction, regardless of what convention you use to ascribe that direction, the movement that you will take is and can only be horizontal. If you're going to describe it with suggestion,
So let me
go
just
ahead.
say this.
Repeat the same thing for the fourth time as I get
No,
halfway
if
through
you
the
look at
sentence.
the moon,
Tell me a
if you
fourth
look at the
time.
moon,
Tell me a
if you
fourth
look at
time.
the moon, if you look at the moon, do you think that the moon points south at any point? Like if you look at the terminal, the axis of the moon, where you think it spins around the axis of the moon, I know it doesn't spin, but that's, you know what I'm talking about, where the crescents meet of the top and the bottom. Do you think the moon ever points south or north all the time?
South, if I'm looking at the
Yeah,
moon,
because
south.
so
I
so
don't
the
need you
moon
to
can be
talk
used.
while I'm talking, answering you. It would be okay if you shut up now. Is that possible? You asked me about the moon and looking at it in a southward direction. That's south. If the moon is south, you're looking in a horizontal orientation to describe the moon in a southern
Okay,
position.
so my point was
Oh
being
my
that you can
god.
use the moon.
Oh my
My
god.
point was,
Oh
dude, I just
my
listened to you.
god.
Hey, wait.
I just listened
E1,
to you. So the
E1, this is
moon.
Okay,
Nathan Oakley is
hold up, you
Nathan
guys.
Oakley. Nathan Oakley is doing his show and he's like trying to talk. So just don't interrupt him until he's done explaining what he's trying to say first. Just don't interrupt.
Don't tell him what to do.
Maybe we could hear the same
This
thing
is
from
Excuse me.
this is a conversation
now. Is he
between
still
Nathan
talking?
and Enon.
Still talking.
Let him
I
let him
could need to hear
finish.
the
Let
same
him
thing
finish.
from him
Go ahead,
5
Nathan.
times without him. My god. Try again. Regardless of what you're now going to try and ask me to describe with the moon, if I'm looking at the moon south, I'm looking at it in a horizontal only orientation. That's south. Now, if you say, well, no, if I take true north, then that's south. What a different degree in the horizontal. It's a horizontal degree always. So to travel north or to travel south, to look up at the stars, is only ever capable of description with respect to a flat plane. It's a horizontal orientation in all circumstances. North and south are flat earth only directions, regardless of which convention you use.
I didn't think I.
I'm not seeking any approval, by the way. When I say these things, I'm pointing these out as statements of absolute fact as opposed to seeking approval from anybody. Because when there's discussions from people who are under the misapprehension that that's south, like down, it isn't. Or that that's north, points up, it isn't. If you're going to derive this system from an elevation angle to the North Star, then your elevation angle can form a latitude system. But for orientation purposes, if the North Star's your reference for a horizontal directionality and you're moving in opposition to Polaris, you're still going to move in a horizontal orientation derived from that convention with Polaris, as opposed to a magnetic field line or an arbitrary description of true north. All of these systems, arbitrary, Polaris-based or magnetic-based, if you're going to use them for directionality, mean that the directionality ascribed to it is and can only be horizontal. When anybody ever brings up, how does this work in the south? They are literally describing moving to an area in a flat Earth orientation. It's a flat Earth description. North, south, these are conventions derived from absolute directions. When you describe north, therefore, the orientation in degrees, if you suggest it's off for a different convention, is still a horizontal discrepancy, if you will. The orientation ascribed after the fact with conventions are only applicable to flat planes. It's a flat Earth measurement. So when I hear a ball believer asking a flat earther, how does this work in the south? He's asking, how does this work when I travel in a flat Earth direction? That's what's actually being asked.
Nathan, I got a question for you. When you say directionality, how would we describe directionality? What's the description of directionality?
Flat. All directions are flat.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
Answering your question. What do you mean when you ask about directionality? Now I'm hearing this guy's voice as I heard his question. Now I'm hearing him through the top of my answer. What a shock.
Okay, you're not
answering. Yeah, but Nathan,
answering you.
The movement of that sun
you just
around.
telling me that I'm answering before you've given me a chance to speak. My God.
Let me.
No, shut up.
Oh, Nathan,
not let me. I heard your question. All right, I'm done. You guys are intolerant pricks. You're a bunch of pricks.
I'm going to start modding.
Shut up.
I'm going to start modding these guys. Who is this that's over talking you, Nathan?
Deisler, that was me. I'm trying to ask the question.
Nathan was
I know you're trying to ask the question.
Shut up. When I say directions, I have no arbitration over what direction is. When I state an absolute fact about what south in this instance is, with reference to a ball believer asking about travelling in that direction, what does it mean? It means we're travelling on a flat Earth, in a flat Earth orientation only described in the horizontal. The degree that you describe when you say it's a few degrees off is a horizontal degree. If you're going to describe something being 180 degrees from north, regardless of which convention, you're describing it horizontally. So it's not me describing these conventions, but the conventions that are only available to us are all flat Earth only conventions.
Your simple point. How many more times are you going to repeat it? We heard you.
Oh, it's just painful.
Yeah, but if you look, Nathan,
you don't need to break it down so slowly for us.
Okay, Nathan,
when you give
that was not the question.
That sun,
Chris,
that direction in a certain way, when you're coming from that 0 degree, which is the horizon, which it never passes, it's moving away from a center point, basically. So it's moving away from the center outwards and around.
Yeah, those are horizontal also. Those descriptions and terms are all horizontal terminology.
Yes, those are all horizontal, but there's still a slight climb in it.
Excellent. So we can describe the world when we measure it with two different systems. The rise, as has been described for the movement of the sun,
Who's we?
is its altitude. That's an angle from a baseline. When we describe its direction, we're describing azimuth. So the two systems, both flat Earth only measurements, are azimuth, that's directions, and altitude from a flat plane in both instances. Earth is measured flat for these systems. To conclude, these same flat Earth measurement systems are the ones that construct the ball.
Nathan, can I finish my question, or are you going to just jump again? My question was
it depends. It depends if when you finish asking your question, whether or not.
Okay, no, wait. Okay, so
you asked me something.
Nathan, you are not on your own server right now. Can you at least respect people's
You asked me something, and now you won't shut up again. You asked me, can I ask you a question? That's a question in and of itself. Therefore, when you finish asking me a question, can I ask you a follow-up question?
That you are not on your own server right now. Can
Ideally, when you ask me something, you shut up and let me answer. Now, the fact that you can't do that is just a demonstration of how intolerable you are. I urge you, can I ask you a follow-up question? That is a question. I'm going to answer you. You can ask me if, when you finish your freaking question, you shut your mouth afterwards.
Okay. That's dumb.
Holy fuck.
You sound like a psychopath, dude.
The mods deal with the guy
That's how I'm
yelling.
getting attacked personally now.
Yeah,
Can I
I'm
ask a
dealing with the
follow-up
mods.
question? Question mark followed it. I answered it and immediately heard the person asking me the question continuing to talk. Then I get called a psychopath. No, you're a bunch of wankers. You ask me something and then don't shut up.
Well, they don't address anything, Nathan. You just explained about horizontal direction and altitude, and nobody's responded to that. They just
absolutely
ignore
correct.
that and ask a different question.
Yes. So, I'll just put it back at the server. You bunch of psychopaths. I've just pointed out an absolute categoric stone cold flat earth proof by prerequisite and measurement, and absolutely zero acknowledgement came my way as a result. I got asked if I could be asked another question. The response to me laying out how flat earth was measured was to be asked if I could be asked another question. That was the response, you bunch of psychopaths.
No, I think everybody's just amazed at the way that you're speaking to all of us. So why would we interact with you?
Because I've described how
Yeah, but
flat
that's
Earth is measured
sun.
with directionality. That was a question put to me, and I'm hearing other people's voices immediately. Are you going to call the person talking through me a psychopath? Undoubtedly not. No, what I've done is laid out a specific point with regards to what was being discussed in the server. A question about the orientation when travelling to different parts of Earth's surface, to look up at lights and describe how they move. Now, to do that requires Earth is and can only be a flat plane. What I'd like before a follow-up question comes is for somebody to not call me a psychopath, not address my tone, which is that of disdain with a bunch of retards who aren't acknowledging what I've put to them based on the discussion that's taken place. You've discussed moving south. South's a flat earth only direction. One of you could at least acknowledge that fact before we move on.
Is this one of those quantum eraser guys that follows him?
That's a complete ignorance of what I've just said.
All right, so I just unmuted Hammerized. Hammerized, if you want to address the question or the comment or the statement that Nathan just put forth, you can do that. But if not, then I'll just put you back on mute.
And I will mute myself. You don't have to mute me. I didn't even ask the question. I was not asking a follow-up question. My question is very simple, Nathan.
Yes.
In maths and physics, how directionality is described?
I answered you. It's flat. In this case, horizontal degrees from north when describing travelling south. I've already answered you.
Is there a vector involved? But that was a wrong answer, by the way. Google how directionality is described in maths and physics.
Sorry, it's a horizontal degree from north when we describe azimuth. No, I'm not incorrect.
That was not my question, Nathan. Again, I'm not
How
even
do you
there. I'm
describe it?
asking.
You also included a category error. You included a
No, it's
category error like it was physics. It's not.
Show me. No, it's in physics and in maths and physics. How do we describe directionality?
Third time's a charm.
Navigation with
flat with horizontal degrees from north. It's called azimuth. That's the fourth time I've answered you.
Okay, would you like me to give you the correct answer, or are you going to carry on chanting?
Right, is that a question in and of itself? Would I like you to give me the correct answer? That's an inference in a passive-aggressive way, like I'm wrong when I say degrees of north from a horizontal plane when describing horizontal degrees from north aren't horizontal. Yeah, they absolutely are. I'm not in some way needing correction. You're not going to be correcting that azimuth's horizontal when the guy said, no, true north is certain number of degrees in the horizontal. Off Polaris as a north. Okay, so that's a horizontal degree difference then. Yeah, even the person that suggested I was wrong the first time gave me a correction with a flat earth deviation in the horizontal also. So, no, I'm not wrong. It's a horizontal degree in all circumstances.
Oh, okay, again, back to that was not the question I asked. To give me an answer, which has nothing to do with my question. The answer is described it
That's
by
what we were
vector.
talking
Okay,
about. So
hang on.
what
No,
why
no,
are
I
you
know.
asking
No,
questions that
okay.
are irrelevant to what we're talking about? Is my
It is
question.
relevant. There is a
That's
relevance if
what
you
we're
allow me to
talking
speak.
about. When we
If you
came
allow
into
me
the
to
server, there was
finish.
a conversation about direction, and there was a
Okay,
context to the conversation. Why are you off context?
Yeah, there was a discussion about travelling south. What south? A horizontal degree from north.
Talking about geometry here.
Yeah, not physics. That's a category error.
Yeah.
The guy didn't understand
And
what
it's
physics
not the
is.
category. In physics and maps, we describe directionality by vector, x, y, and z.
Oh, so what you say? Gotcha. So when I summarised having azimuth and altitude from a plane, that's not x, y, z. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Horizontal degrees from north and elevation angles. That's azimuth and altitude. That's how Earth's measured.
You know what?
Okay, well, while this guy figures out what to mutter at me next, Earth's measured flat with azimuth and altitude. It's a three-dimensional Cartesian flat planar system that describes all measurements and all directions. Earth is measured flat for azimuth and altitude. Azimuth is direction, degrees from north in the horizontal. It's a planar measurement that's only ever capable of being described in the horizontal. When you describe altitude, you're describing the degree from a flat baseline. That's what we measure Earth with. Planar measurements of azimuth and altitude. Earth's measured flat to travel in a direction. If you're talking about going into the third dimension, that's altitude. Then the altitude measurement for things like ballistic trajectories and vectors for rockets, planes, helicopters, drones, they will describe a deviation in the horizontal with respect to a horizontal measured mile or kilometre. Earth is still measured flat for trajectories that include a third dimension. But just travelling in a direction, south, is a two-dimensional, horizontal-only, azimuthal directionality, only ever capable of being measured from and described with respect to a flat Earth.
That's correct. Excellent. If that was incorrect, somebody be able to rebut you and state and discuss how you are incorrect and give demonstrations and explanations of how. But you don't get that. You just get, I need to ask you a question about something else.
Alternatives do include calling me a psychopath, suggesting that my tone of disdain towards people is the actual subject on the table when I describe how flat Earth can only be measured 4 degrees of azimuth in the horizontal. Maybe call me a psychopath, maybe tell me you don't like my tone as a response, because that'll change how flat Earth's being measured in all circumstances by everybody without exception.
I think Brenda had a question or was trying.
Don't want to talk to Brenda. I'll be disappearing then. Brenda is a person that has suggested my kids should be taken away from me by social services. I do not want to talk to demons like Brenda who suggests my kids should be taken away.
Got it.
No, not interested. It was fun being here. Thank you for having me.
I'm confused. I thought that Nathan Oakley, I honestly, I when you came in here, I thought you were a baller. Now you're saying that you're arguing for the flat earth and you think that we're arguing against you about that. I don't understand. Because you're saying that it can only be measured.
I can explain that. No problem. So there's a misapprehension when people utilize flat Earth prerequisite measurements of a surface to create a ball. For instance, if you take Polaris and derive a minimum elevation angle into a radius value, you can create something called an equatorial plane, which sits inside a ball with the latitude and longitude system wrapped around you. You guys were talking about Prime Meridian, formerly Jerusalem, now through Greenwich. Well, that's a system that's derived from the time-based system we measure off Earth with azimuth and altitude also. So these are all flat Earth-based systems that create a globe wrapped around you from a 0 point right in the center of something called the equatorial plane. And me explaining how heliocentrism is also derived from flat Earth measurements can give off this misapprehension that means that I'm somehow responsible for a globe-based equatorial value or an equatorial plane or a globe wrapped around you for the degrees of latitude. They're not my responsibility. It's just I do understand how flat Earth must be measured to create a globe. That doesn't make me a bull believer.
No. I wasn't saying that I'm saying I'm confused as to what your position on is what we were talking about because I wasn't arguing.
Nathan Oakley's been doing the flat Earth debates. You've seen probably a lot of his stuff over the years. He's got I
have. I know the name. I know that, but I was under.
But he's arguing. There's ballers in here that are arguing against him right now, and there's no. He doesn't know anything about your model. Yeah, so it's a baller thing. He's going after the ballers. Let them do it. Their thing. Yeah, it's his show. He's got going.
I just didn't know. It really seemed to me right there that just like with Trouble just a little while ago, everything that I knew about Trouble, she does not believe anymore. And what I was hearing here, it almost made it sound like he was saying the flat earthers were saying
Yeah, but
it's not
he's
like
doing
that.
his show, so there's no need to go
Okay.
on
Yeah, no,
explaining
I
it.
understand that. I
He doesn't
understand
know
that.
anything about your model or any of that. Just let him argue with the
He
ballers.
doesn't
That's
have
the
to.
show.
He doesn't have to.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know anything about the model. The Western world model is a heliocentric model that's derived from planar measurements inside a ball. So for my live audience now on screen is the globe from a center point with a equatorial plane meeting the outside extremities of the globe Earth from a flat plane called the equatorial plane, and then that extends out to the celestial sphere and extended celestial plane, again from the center point of a globe Earth that's a glorified protractor. So in order to create the globe Earth as a glorified protractor, for you to have it function from a center point called the equatorial plane, you measure Earth flat for elevation angles and azimuth. That's what
you're using
started
trigonometry, so it has to be flat. Exactly. Yeah.
based on the measurements. Just based on the measurements. The after the fact extrapolation of globe may be incorrect. I take no responsibility for the after the fact calculations. The measurements, however, are flat. As one example, you could talk about north and south. They're horizontal and measured. If you talk about how high Polaris is, it's a flat plane with its degree from it. That's how Earth gets measured. Earth's just measured flat.
Azimuth and amplitude. Yeah, I understand.
Amplitude,
That's,
That's it.
That's how I figured out all the. Yep, I agree with you. It was honestly, it was really like you were arguing against what you're saying now, is what it seemed like to me. But I guess I'm completely just misunderstanding because just the way everybody was all hot with you and I was hot with you. And sorry about that, man.
Fine, I get that a lot. The problem is that when I point out that Earth's just measured flat for everybody, always without exception, the people on my own side suddenly don't have any ability to lord over next man how wonderfully insightful they are when they're telling somebody that Earth's measured flat, because they just believe it, or because they've watched the sun, or because they've got an explanation for, I don't know, Aurora Borealis, whatever it is that they've pulled upon to suggest to next man that they are more enlightened than them. I undermine people when I say, well, the measurements are flat anyway for everyone, including ball believers. They're all measuring Earth flat too. It's just they all whistle straight past their own measurements. It's like, if we can accept that we've got this flat Earth measurement, then how does it work on a flat Earth? Because I can convert it to a ball and it works really well. That's generally how we've argued for 10 years. Now I'm pointing out how all the measurements are foundationally reliant on Earth being flat, regardless of the after-the-fact heliocentric extrapolations that our opponents used and ignored how flat Earth was being measured to create.
And is still being used and measured, whether you're a baller or a flat earther, either way. You're using that trigonometry. So yeah, I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree.
Yeah, exactly. No, it doesn't matter who you are, you'll measure Earth flat. If I come along and say, well, you do realize your religion of being on rather than in a ball is wrong, all I'm doing is challenging somebody's religious view, which there's laws against. I'm not allowed to do that. If I point out, oh, right, you've got a ball belief, how interesting that Earth is measured flat for your ball belief. Were you aware of that?
Well, I think that it's been inbred into every civilization to not so much the ballers and flatters, but if
Ik had
you
al een keer
are against
gekeken
the
naar was,
grain,
maar heb
we're
jij
gonna.
nog van die haakjes? Toevallig? Want hier...
just getting into that.
Sorry about that.
Make discipline, please.
One more time. 2117. One more time.
She was hot micing. I took her off mute and she was hot micing, so I put her back on. Carry on.
I kind of lost train of thought when that happened. I didn't know what the hell was going on, to be honest with you.
Just a summary that everybody measures Earth flat and there isn't any exception. Even if you've got a ball belief extracted from those flat Earth measurements, you need flat Earth measurements for it. We've spent 12 years with ballers asking us how, when they measure an altitude and describe a distance, how would that work on a flat Earth? Because they can take those flat Earth measurements of distance and altitude and suggest we've got a sphere edge with flat Earth calculated values.
Yeah,
that's what's happened for 12 years.
Yep. And it seems to me like we're all just arguing a point that we know the other person is just arguing because they are not going to change, or they would feel dumb getting rid of their entire way of looking at things. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you can see it within religion. You can see it in even just cliques of people. But if you're talking about somebody's belief system or way they look at reality, it's going to be pretty hard to take somebody that's either older or really set in their ways to really, even if you put the truth in their face, it's going to be hard to make them really believe or change their mind, is what I think's a
Indeed.
problem.
Sorry, I generally cause chaos wherever I go, so thank you to the moderators of this server. Really appreciate you having me. But with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive
later.
Yeah, he's just doing the show. He's now doing. He's rounding out on his live show. So,
He's
yeah,
different.
oh yeah, Nathan Oakley. He's his attitude is crazy when he does his show. You'll see. It's just like he's basically like just kind of going over what he thinks more so than looking for new ideas or trying to figure out what you were talking about before
No,
he
as
got
you
here.
should. Nobody should be trying to figure out what I'm doing and trying to make it be truth or anything. Look at my ideas, see if it incorporates into anything you see that's going on. But
He has no
I
idea that you were even talking about your model before you got here. It had nothing to do
could
with you.
tell. I could
Yeah.
tell. I
Hey,
could
new
totally.
What's
perspective.
up, Cyrus?
All right.
Cyrus is here. What's up, Cyrus?
What do you
Well, real
think of
quick, I'm
his?
gonna take Sugar Cookie. Real quick, I'm gonna take Sugar Cookie and Crizzle off mute. You guys can hear me. Mute yourself so you're not hot micing.
I got a
What do
question
you?
for you, new perspective. According to Nathan's catchphrase about linear units, an American football field, even though it's crowned, it's higher in the middle, it's still measured in yards or feet, which are linear units. So doesn't that make it flat?
Why are you asking me that?
Well, don't you agree that by his logic, that an American football field would measure flat because it's measured in linear units, and linear units are straight, and then that would make it flat? By his logic? You may not agree with his logic, but don't you agree that that's what his logic says?
And you're saying even though you can measure, there's like a mound that's like it kind of has that runoff so that the water doesn't like stay on the football field. So they
Yeah,
have like that little bit of deviation.
they do have that mound, yeah. But the
Yeah.
point is, it still measures in linear units, yards or feet, right? And linear units are straight, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Just tell me that. Am I right
Yeah,
or am I wrong?
you're kind of using me to make a point to Nathan
Yeah,
Oakley after the show is over. Yeah, I get it.
Slopes can
you
be
got a
straight
point
lines.
there, Jesse.
Jesse,
But in a
slopes
radiant
can be straight
angle,
lines.
the arc and the radius are equal. So when you're putting that same angle you have on that arc, when that is 60 degree, when you place that hypotenuse straight above your straight line above your radius, and you put it under that same 60-degree angle, you get that same radiant angle going up into the sky.
Oh, thank you,
Wasn't
Chris. I
But
couldn't have said that better
that
myself.
angle, with that 60-degree angle, its length of that radius and its arc are all equal. So everything in that grows by that ratio.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's just a radiant angle flipped on its side, put into the sky with the same lengths as it has on the ground.
Yeah, I don't understand what that has to do with a football field.
What I wanted to say, when you have that sun going around by 30 degrees in your sky, making a jump of half a radian. It's going half a radian out, but it's also going half a radian angle up. And that's why you get that Archimedes spiral where we
But
just see
Chris,
just two little arcs from.
what does that have to do with a football field?
No, I was responding because I was muted during the conversation and I still wanted to get that out.
Oh, okay, I see. I see. You're talking about something else. Well,
I'm
Jesse
talking
was
about the
talking.
degrees and how that sun is moving around the circle in
Yeah, yeah,
two separated
yeah.
arcs to a single
Yeah.
point.
I get it.
Now,
I get it.
now it makes sense. Yes, that's right.
Yes, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do. Do you agree, Chris, with Jesse that according to Nathan Oakley's logic, a football field is flat because it's
Yeah,
measured
but what
flat?
you're forgetting, Brenda, is that XYZ grid around this point 0, 0, 0 is all horizontal. And all your angles you're measuring up, down, left, and right are measured to that plane.
So is a football field flat?
Flat ain't the shape, Brenda. Get it in your head.
I didn't ask if it was a shape,
That's not the question.
right? I think you
That
said
grid we're
yes.
measuring
Yeah,
to, that XYZ grid, that
it's
is
such a
had a flat baseline, but that C is giving you different planes within that
Yeah, but
XYZ axis.
Chris,
dude. This is like
Chris,
such a fucking interesting, like entire. I hate to say the word arena, but it's like I can't answer the question like I want
right,
to because I
right.
think you might use it against me, and like it's like yeah,
No,
hey, would you like a drink of water?
no, because your football field still has humps and little twists in it, so nothing is
Right,
really
so it's not
surfacely
flat.
flat. It's a baseline. Get it in your head.
Yeah, but
Right,
Chris,
no, but like there's always a gotcha somewhere that somebody's looking for. I think that's kind of the answer that we
but
all
Chris,
kind of hear.
yeah, that's nice. But Chris, according to Nathan, right, because we measure a football field, and according to Jesse, because we measure a football field
It are
in square
vector
feet,
lines,
then it
Brenda.
must be flat because it's measured flat, right? Do you
No, you're
agree?
using
Gotcha.
line of
This is a
sight,
gotcha.
Brenda.
Be
It's
careful.
vector lines going out from a center point, giving you directions all around you.
Can we
It's a
not just
vector
have
line,
honest conversation?
meaning it's a straight line going out, which gives you a
Okay,
flat plane in
I
between.
got it. I got it. I got it. You're just not
Fuck's
able to
sake.
even understand the question.
No, dude, this
Yeah, I do
insane.
understand because that football
No, you
field of
don't.
yours, which is flat, that is your 0, 0, 0, where you're measuring it
No,
all off.
football fields aren't flat, Chris. They're not flat. They're curved.
Yeah,
Come
grass has
on,
humps and
man.
bumps in it. You're really
No,
being ridiculous and
not the
really
grass.
going into the semantics.
No,
Brent,
Chris. The
Brent,
whole shape of a
Brenda,
football, the whole
Brenda,
shape,
come on, man.
the whole shape of a football field is domed. It's curved. It's higher
Your
in the middle.
football field, Brenda, is
Yeah,
lying at the center mass of your Earth, and you're putting your radius to the surface
what?
of the Earth, and you're measuring
What?
30 degrees above your surface. That's what you're
She
doing
cut
with
you
this
off at the
field.
What?
40-yard line right there, didn't she?
Yes,
That
she
didn't make any
did.
sense. That
I
didn't
call
make any
foul.
sense. She said
Yeah.
the football field is at the center of the earth. It's not.
She cut you off at the 40-yard line with your argument.
I think you
No,
better
she didn't.
punt.
Yep. Nice try, bro. She's smarter than she sounds. However,
Not
she
really.
sounds like
Like a
the
retarded
most
3-year-old.
like an oracle. Whenever I hear her speak, it's like she has the most wise thing. I don't know. Talk to her again with respect, and she'll tell you wise thing.
Grabbing an oracle is funny. It's kind of true.
Yeah, the oracle.
Nathan's gone. It sounds quiet in here now.
Yeah, you got
Is,
people
is there lots of
believing that the
yelling?
laser light is bending. That's
Philip,
what I call funny.
why'd you show up after he left, dude? Why not when he was here?
Well, I mean,
McToon doesn't let Q-Op talk
He
with
doesn't let anyone
Nathan.
else talk.
I don't know if we need an entire another
No,
hour
whatever.
about what happened, like a meta discussion.
McToon said he'd be grounded if he interacts with Nathan.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Although when he comes in like that, I mean, just I didn't mean to set him off, but I think it was a trigger for him to set him off when I
think
I'm like,
everybody
dude,
set him
you
off.
sound like a psycho. Was not an ad hominem.
Dude, that dude's crazy. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it was. Come in here all screaming like that. You sound because honestly, we were having a awesome conversation about how one nuts was like carving his shit.
Did you call me one nuts?
I did.
It's E1, bro. E1.
E1.
That's
E1. Not you.
I've got two nuts.
I can't read Wingnuts font. I meant E1.
Okay. That's
Yeah, sorry.
that's
Did I accidentally decipher Wingnuts font?
Oh, there's another wing nut. The sun's angular size is also half a degree nut. But when you look at that radiant angle, it's jumping to the sky and around. It's also about 0.52. But when you take that angular size of the sun and you put it stepwise in between that 30-degree angle, it is exactly the rise of the sun.
What?
To know. Good
What
to
did that
know.
mean, Sugar Cube? What does that mean, Sugar Cube?
I wasn't the one that said
You
that.
figure it out, Brenda.
That was Chris. That was Chris 9976.
Yeah, I'm asking you if you know what that meant, because I sure as hell
No,
don't.
me personally, I have no idea what that meant.
It's showing you the climb in the sky, basically the moving towards us and moving away from us.
Just sounds so good when she says it, though. Right? Or he.
She's married, bro. She's married. It's okay.
Okay.
Hey, when Nathan Oakley's on here, are we like beholden to him? Is it like his platform while he's doing a show,
Yeah,
or
that's
is he?
what I was like, this is bullshit, dude. You can't let some. I mean, it's not my thing.
It's not
but
yours,
like,
and they've decided that
Dude.
when he's here, right,
he just runs the roost.
way.
Okay.
Yeah, why is it always
That's
I
fine.
that get muted at spot
That's,
when I open my mouth at the same time with somebody else while you let everybody through it? That's what I find hilarious.
Because this is a flat
Because
earth.
it's show
This is a
business.
flat earth server.
Because
Nathan
it's
Oakley-
not your choice. It's their choice to do what they do with their own server. And if Nathan Oakley comes over to the server, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
It's show business.
They're
Nathan
not
Oakley
gonna-
puts on a
yeah,
show
they're
that's
not
drawing a
gonna-
crowd. It makes
Yeah,
sense
but
to
it's
do
not
get
just
that.
when Nathan is here.
It
That's
doesn't
just it.
matter. It doesn't matter. Just realize the fact that you have no control, and whatever server you're in says goes, and that's it. That's it.
just
They
like
want,
real life. We're not in
Yeah, but then
control.
stop
Exactly. Yeah,
stealing
it's
my
just like-
shit and trying to make it
doesn't
your
fucking
own
matter.
because you
Do
can't.
it. You can't not let them steal your idea or twist your fucking words. You can't stop it. Gotta go. Okay.
I
Well,
can
that's what
because
they're
I
doing.
still don't understand the
bullshit,
message
and
I'm bringing.
Hang on, I agree. And that's bullshit, and that reflects bad on the Earth Awakening server for you and me and everybody else that's here that were having an honest conversation before that, and then
All
got
right. I know your guys'
chastised
feelings
after
are hurt, but let's just move past it. Life will
Yeah,
carry on.
no, I agree. We'll move totally past that. But I just kind of
Yeah, we got a whole room full of people.
I get
Sugar
the
Cookie and
situation.
Crizzle,
Yeah.
take 5. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I get the situation for sure.
Yeah, we got a whole room full of people. Just take 5. Crizzle and Sugar Cookie.
My question was genuine though. Is it his platform whenever he's doing a show in here? I wasn't sure if like that was a genuine question.
Yes, they have an arrangement.
All right,
They
can
have
I
an
give you the
arrangement.
correct information without people just saying false information? So the correct information is that if somebody actually schedules an event, an actually planned event, that's one thing. And if they wanted to moderate it, they still have to abide by the server guidelines. But if they're going to do an event, that's one thing. I don't think Nathan's ever done an actual event here. He just kind of drops in. I think maybe like one time I got a DM and he said somebody, I think it was Righteous Force, said he wanted to come the next day. So that was like a little bit planned. Otherwise, he just comes in here and no, he doesn't run the room or anything like that. He just comes in, he has his panel here. And so we basically just try to moderate it the best we can because he's usually got multiple people on his side and depends on which mods are here as well. But No, he doesn't run the room or take over the show, or he doesn't have any moderation permissions or any of that stuff that Brenda or any of you guys are even saying. So, or Brenda.
My
was
bad. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to insinuate that. But what I was really insinuating is that this is your server. Server rules goes. So whoever's here does their thing, and then you guys do your thing. Or
All right, man. What's the topic, guys?
Here, I got a topic. I did the whole measure the moonlight thing last night, and while it was only a quick test, it came negative. Like whenever I was measuring the temperature of the moonlight versus moon shade, moonlight was a higher temperature than the moon shade by about a degree or two.
I thought you said it failed.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a difference in the shade as opposed to the moonlight. It sounds like there was a difference.
Yeah. The moonlight was warmer than the moon shade, which is usually the opposite of what I've heard stated.
Post those results.
I mean, it's just a video of me using a little laser thermometer, and you can't really see very clearly where I'm pointing, so it's not like great. But I'm just telling you this is what my
Sounds like a faulty experiment.
Well,
I wouldn't trust your findings then.
Okay.
Thank you.
It was last night. It was on asphalt, like a regular road. Maybe the road had something to do with it. I don't know, but it did appear to me like moonlight was warmer than moonshade. I will test again though for sure. I was just wondering if anyone else is coming across the same results.
I've used
I
a
would
thermal
actually say,
imager, and there was no difference actually correlated to moonlight or moon shadow that it could pick up.
no, and when I did it, I can't say that I used a laser thermometer or one of those ones you shoot, but I was getting a problem with, because you were doing it at night. If you went to a place where it was shade, you could probably make it to where it wasn't like that. But if you were under the canopy of the trees, or let's say like a house, you're actually covered just like you would be for, let's say, a frost. You're not going to get a frost underneath the trees as you would if you're not under the trees. So you're going to have temperature differential just because you think you're shading from the light of the moon, but in actuality you're actually shading almost like the frost layer, or you're shading that falling of the cool air at night to where you're almost in a microclimate just by being under the canopy.
Right. Well, the at night, on a clear night, you lose heat to black body radiation. It goes out to the sky and never comes back. So that's why the ground exposed to the clear sky at night gets cold. But under the tree, the infrared radiation goes up to the tree, warms the tree, and the tree radiates it back down. So yeah, it's definitely delayed underneath a tree.
So wouldn't that give you the false, or what he's getting, if he's within that parameters of that, because he's getting the exact opposite of what he thought he was supposed to get. He thought he would get cooler in the shade, right? I mean, that's what I'm under the understanding is he's trying to measure the shade and then the moonlight, and in the moonlight it was supposed to be getting colder, and he's seeing it the exact opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
It's with a little thermal gun or whatever. It's really hard to tell, because if you have ever operated a thermal imager, you can see that there's all these different hot spots and cold spots, and if you're just like you're like taking random shots with a thermal gun, and you don't realize that there's like all this randomness, and you're like trying to look for a pattern, and you can get just kind of any pattern, but it's not really a pattern. You're just like getting random results. You really got to do it with a thermal imager.
Well, and it doesn't even matter. Well, the thermometer would probably help a lot better. But even if you're looking at one medium and you have a board stretched across the moonlight, the shade, and then in the open and in the shade, like you said, you're going to have that discrepancy across whatever it is, wood, metal, concrete. It don't matter. You can hit across all of them in one, one of them in the shade, and you're going to have different discrepancies between a foot across that medium, whatever it is.
Yeah. So what I did was I set up a styrofoam round disc with a board on it, also round, all the same material, and then I had a column sticking up the middle to produce a moonlight shadow, so that I had a controlled surface that was all the same with a moonlight shadow on it. And then I filmed that with my thermal imager, and there was no temperature shadow at all.
I started doing that kind of stuff as far as, not trying to prove anything, but just doing experiments myself with the moonlight, the sunlight, seeing what all that is. When you were doing all this with that, did you see the moon bow? Like you have rainbows from the sun, you have the same thing from the moon. Did you see any of that while you're doing any of your stuff?
No, I did not see a rainbow or a moonbow.
Okay, yeah. So you get the same effect from the moon, especially if it's your high altitude above, let's say 6,000 feet, or just where there's not ambient light. Go outside, and the best way to do it is take a hose from, just any type of hose, and spray mist, and put your back to the moon, and you'll see a full bow of rainbow, and it won't just be a half a bow; it'll be a full circle of a moon bow.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, it just goes to show you that the light it's no different than the same type of light as far as the spectrum of light that you're getting from the sun. It's just that it's coming off of the phosphor, or a different spectrum. It's from not an incandescent or an electric light like the light you see from the sun, but now it's the light that's coming off of the moon, or the UV light that's been transposed into a spectrum light. And it's literally giving you this, it's, at least in my description, it's giving the same rainbow or the same spectrum split as off the firmament as the other light. It's very faint. It's like you can definitely see it though. I mean, there's no question about it. If you try and do what I say, anybody, wherever, if you have the full moon or a bright enough moon to where you're going to see light out there and you can see a shadow of the moon, just put your back to the moon, take your hose and just spray it in a spray instead of a stream, and you'll see the rainbow or the moonbow for sure. You probably all think I'm crazy now.
No, that's cool.
No, you can see it. You can see it around the moon. I don't think you really get that with the sun. So
The moonbow.
yeah, moon ring.
By the way, on the cold moonlight thing, this is I pinned this live stream. It's on Rumble. It's number 1667, and that was on here. And basically, several people were doing the moonlight testing live on the live stream here. I think it was Cyrus was doing it. Silly Questions was doing it. Redford Bear. And I'm trying to think if there was a fourth person, but yeah, so several people were all doing it live, and you can watch that live stream. They pretty much all got, from what I remember, anywhere from about 2 to 7 degrees colder in the moonlight than the moon shade. And they did it on a wide variety of different materials, and several of them were sharing their cameras as well. So yeah, so that's just kind of an interest. I'm not saying that's 100% proof of the phenomenon or anything. I'm just saying that was done live on here, and several people did it at the same time.
That's
Ken did a video with a FLIR cam or some kind of thermal cam. Showed it. So I mean, there's probably dozens of videos across YouTube showing this phenomena.
Yesterday morning, we started work about 5:30 in the morning. and it was still dark, but the sun comes up maybe around 6 o'clock or a little. Well, no, I think sun comes up about 6:30. Anyway, when I was checking the fluids on my piece of equipment, I saw the upper stage of the Falcon 9 launch here from East Tennessee that they launched from Florida. And it was right on the horizon, and it was being illuminated by the sun, but we was still in the dark because we was down here on the ground. But it was in the path of the sunlight, and it looked like a gigantic, trying to think of the best way to put it. It was like a big cone shape. It was super bright in the sky, and it was massive, but it was real low on the horizon, and we just seen it for maybe 30 seconds. And it really stood out. I mean, you could not miss this thing in the sky, but it's one of the prettiest things I've ever seen, honestly. Uh, but it's what it looked like. It looked like like one of the things you play badminton with, that you hit back and forth across the birdie that you hit back and forth across the net. That's what it looked like. It was like that shape. But I'm in East Tennessee, and they launched it in Florida yesterday morning, and we was able to see it from the upper stage.
And you're talking about you saw the cone and then the trail of whatever it was off gassing, right? Or
Yeah,
the white streak, not just
the
okay.
exhaust coming out of the back of it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've seen a few of them off of the western coast too. They weren't the Falcons or anything, but I think they were SpaceX.
Yeah, this one was exceptionally bright and I think prettier to look at because it was being illuminated by the sunlight, but we were still in the dark down here on the ground because the sun hadn't risen high enough to light us up yet. So it was super fucking bright. And it looked just like one of them little birdies you play badminton with. That's the exact shape that it was. And it was right on the horizon, and it disappeared behind the tree line up on the mountain there behind us. And I had to look it up. I didn't know what I was looking at first. I didn't know what the fuck it was because it's bigger than anything in the sky as far as size wise goes, and it was brighter than the stars. Hell, it was brighter than the full moon would have been. But it was, moving westward or eastward. I mean, and I looked it up and mapped it out on there, where you can go in there and find out like where it's launched, the height, and all that bullshit. And that's all we saw yesterday. It's one of the prettiest things I've ever seen in the sky, honestly.
That's cool. That's neat. And a lot of people probably aren't going to see that. I mean, you're probably have a chance of maybe 1 in 30 for every time they launch one of those things, but they're launching them in different places. So I would bet most people aren't going to see that big streak in the sky.
I do got to say, it was moving straight horizontal. It wasn't going upwards. It was moving sideways. Take that as you will. That's just the way it was moving. It popped up behind the mountain and was almost horizontal as it moved sideways and then disappeared behind the horizon as it went, away from us.
Because it's got to go horizontal after it gets up about 4 or 5 miles to get into orbit, whether it be on an electromagnetic orbit or even if it was on a ball, it would still have to be going horizontal because you can't go straight up. It would just go off into nothing.
Right, but I know there's a lot of people believe that they just crash them back into the ocean. So that's why I was saying it was moving horizontal when we saw it. It wasn't.
Yep.
It didn't appear to be rising. Although on a ball, the way that they would say it is, it's just perspective that it still is climbing, but since it's moving away from us, it appeared to be going horizontal, even though it's probably still climbing. But from viewing it, it looked like it was just going sideways.
And you're looking at it. If you're looking at it, you saw about how fast they say it was going and what you could see. At least when I saw the two that I've seen out here in California, they weren't going any faster than any plane across the sky. It wasn't like it was dramatically faster than anything I've ever seen. It was exactly a 3 minute or a 2 minute and 40-second time from horizon to horizon, or I'm estimating that because I didn't see it from horizon to horizon. I saw it like you did at
It,
the
it was nothing like a meteor. A meteor zips across the sky.
exactly. Yeah.
It was moving slow like an airplane.
Did you get the spiral or corkscrew nature of it? The off gassing?
No, I think we were seeing it more from the side. That's why we didn't see that. Maybe if we'd have seen it straight from the rear, it would have looked that way. But I
Yeah,
think
because I got video from California because I watch a lot of the launches because it just comes directly overhead, and it's always like this corkscrew spiral. It's the fucking weirdest looking thing, man.
I think of it
And I
as
feel
a,
like a lot of the ancients have depict that geometry in the sky on pictographs or whatever you call them.
that's exactly what they draw. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So that's kind of a bizarre connection. Like I haven't really made sense of it completely yet, but
I was so pissed off though because I didn't have my phone on me because I was checking fluid on a piece of equipment. My phone was in the truck, 100 foot away, and I look up and see this thing. I ain't got no way to fucking record it. The one time probably in my life that I'll ever see it, and all the conditions was perfect with the sun where it was at, not come up yet. This thing being launched, me being standing at just the perfect spot. And the only other thing that have made it better is if I could have gotten up, if I would have been up on top of the hillside that it dipped behind, because we're mining all the way up on there. So there's a road that goes all the way up on there, and I could have seen it really good from up on there, but there was no way to do it. And I was pissed off because I didn't get any footage.
At least you got to see it. At least you got to see it.
Well, guys, I got to jump off and get some sleep, but E1 is awesome having you on. I don't know if you're going to stay on and talk to people still, or if another topic wants to be brought up or people want to ask about your dual pole. Ben is one of your fans here, by the way, for the dual pole stuff that I've been sending him, and sure some other people have really dug what your videos are all about. So, any questions about E1's dual pole still, or if you want to bring up another topic or whatever?
Oh, well, I appreciate that I have fans. I didn't even know that I had fans or anything like that. That's for sure.
I'm a fan after New Perspective.
What'd you say, Ben?
I said I'm your second biggest fan after you.
Yeah, I like the feet pics, E1 that he's been posting.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't doing any shows anytime soon. You're not going to see me on the big screen. So.
Well, he like I said before, he had he didn't know anything about TFE, and so a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is just trying to come up with something after the TFE thing." But yeah, he knew about the 24-hour sun already, and so yeah, it's interesting that a lot of flat earthers are like automatically against the dual pole, even though it does give an answer to the 24-hour sun. So it seems like I would expect people to be at least more open to the idea, or that it's a possible answer for the 24-hour sun, even if they don't agree that it's a dual pole or whatever. That's something that definitely is a retort to what the ballers are griping about, and it doesn't have to be that you're promoting it or anything, but that's an option, and at the very least.
It
Yeah, I
really
think
is
you guys should
hard
keep
to.
pressing on with that. I think you guys are doing a good job on that.
He doesn't care.
I
Like
would.
I don't want to speak for E1, but yeah, like he said to me before, and I don't care like necessarily who agrees, but he doesn't want to push it. I'm not pushing it other than just offering it to people kind of low key.
Yep, I'm not trying to build any empires. I'm not trying to prove any points or nothing like that. But I do think it's important to, instead of getting my idea or my way of thinking of the model or the flat earth or anything, it's more of how I got to it. So I feel that I have a basis of how I derived everything that I'm talking about, whether it be the electromagnetics that drive the world or whatever it is. But there's a basis because of how I went back through to get the map, to get the grid, to understand how it all worked with the stars and all that kind of stuff, and then to see it from in ancient cultures, as opposed to just trying to figure out what's the lie that we've been told, what's the shape of the earth, all this kind of stuff. Because I was never opposed to changing anything that I was on my map or on my terrestrial or my celestial triangulation tool. I wouldn't have griped at all to change anything at any given time if I could see or would have found anything that made it to where it had to be changed. This didn't work, or there were so many anomalies to where I couldn't get my GP to work out with things, whatever the case may be. And I still am. But I think it's more of, if you start looking at all the different things that you're looking at in this world and look at it from the aspect of electromagnetics, that there actually is fields that everything is running within and deriving from, it's a lot better off than just to try and make people believe what I believe as far as the flat earth or the dual pole model, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna do a follow up. We still have to do another session, with a close up of your star wheels and how those, how you got the star wheels made and how you looked at the GPs in a lot more detail. So when you say your celestial, what do you call it again? The tool that you've derived and how to use that and stuff. We'll have to do like a major.
It's CAT, so the celestial astronomical triangulation tool, but I just call it the celestial triangulation tool. It's just the map with the star wheels on top of it with latitude and longitude that gives you your triangulation for your GP.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people in here have gotten that far to like understand that you put this.
How would they? There's
together.
no way they would at all.
I've posted your stuff. I posted your, and I'll do it again in the live stream. I'll post your E1 machine website again for people if they want to understand it better.
And I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to build anything for anybody. I have no problem telling
man, I was
people.
just going to ask you if I could buy one.
Well, the minimum price, I mean, I have all this stuff. I was going to try and build them and sell them, but
dude, I'm joking.
But
yeah, what is the minimum price?
Minimum price for me to make it is probably about $25 to $30 for the plastic ones, and then that's just with all the overlays of the stuff, and that's me doing that just for one of them. And dude, I'm not going to get into all that kind of shit. I'm not going to make any money, and I'm not going to want to spend the time sending out one or two of these things across to New Zealand and one over to, whatever. It's just not something I'm looking at doing. But it's very easy to make. I mean, it's just you get a Weems and Plath, or you take the nautical almanac information, or the maritime almanac, whatever you want, aeronautical, and you transpose that information into exactly what I have there. You can buy it, and it's $100 to go get this all complete setup and everything that's in a leather bound case that you can use exactly with what I'm doing to give you the overlays you need for the observer viewpoints to give you those declinations that I was talking about. But it's just a matter of I would get 5-6 people in the world that would ever want something like that, so I'm not going to go through all this problem with it, for sure.
Yeah, I just put it. Let's see, did I do it? I put it in there. If anyone wants to check out the E1 Earth Machine website, I'll put it in there again. But yeah, we'll have to do another session with those details before the final. Like if we do a final version of it, whatever, for people to get the dual pole thing. But I think it's sad. Like that, it sucks that a lot of people don't even know anything about what you've put together as a possible model, and this whole TFE thing. Like, it has a lot of people just feeling like there's even just surface level people that are thinking that flat Earth's been debunked and there's no answer and there's no model, and then they assume that if your thing had any like worth to it, it would be pushed and there'd be like a big grand like display of it and everybody'd be talking about it because it's like, but if it was pushed like that, I think a lot of people, especially people like QOP or whoever, are gonna be like, oh, it's a psyop. They're trying to push a dual pole model now. If you had like anybody like David Weiss or anybody backing it, you'd be like less benefited by it rather than more benefited by just being low key.
Well, anything pushed is not good. I don't care what it is. It's the old adage saying, if somebody's going around giving you something free, the product isn't the thing that you're grabbing from their hand. The product is you. They're getting information from whatever they're deriving by giving you that thing. They get to see what the genre of whatever music you're listening to. They can depict you by male or female, who's buying what, who's accepting what, all that kind of stuff, whatever the case may be. But if you start pushing things on people, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's my idea, whether it's the flat earth model, a map, a way of doing things. It should be that the masses literally turn away from it. But the people like anybody listening to my voice right now or that will listen to my voice on this channel will be turned off from that. I mean, that's the whole reason that we all question about things, is that when things are pushed on you, you're going to not want to go along with it. So I would never want to push, try and go, yeah, you need, this is the way it is. This is the truth. I can never say that. I can say, this is the way that I describe it. This is the way that I'm explaining the world around me or reality. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't mind answering questions. I don't mind talking, but I'm not going to sit there and argue with people that the earth is flat. It ain't a ball. This and that, whatever.
Yeah, but there's no point because we all have our own perspective on the world and our own experience. And it's the whole of the different viewpoints that eventually will make the model stick or not.
Yes, and that's the thing that I think is the most important. Is, I don't know if this is exactly what you're saying, but it's I believe that a lot of cultures, a lot of people, every religion, all has a certain part of truth. Not so much saying that this God is correct or that God's correct or this way of not eating fish or whatever, but there's some point of this religion that they understand the truth, whether it be the spiritual connection, the idea of what it's the geometric shapes within inside of their symbology is. That might be correct, whatever it is. But if you put all of it together, the whole of all of our ideas and everything will eventually show us the truth. And I think that's what putting all this together, as far as with the map, um, whether it's a ball or a flat, how it all goes together with how everything works in reality, it kind of comes together when you start bringing it to what the meaning of
Yeah,
it
but
is and how everybody has a part of that truth. Just not everybody's wrong. It's just that everybody has a little part, and if we put it all together, we would find the actual truth.
yeah, but now with the globe model, we're looking down to the surface. But if you really want to know what that surface is actually doing, we need a structure on the surface to take all your angles on that surface off. Otherwise, you're never going to solve this puzzle.
Okay.
Because everything is based on line of sight, angles towards something. So when you have a structure that gives you that basic angles of 90 and 120 over the world, you can put those lines over the world into the sky and over the ground and make a basically a 4D map of the whole.
Yep, and I think that that's something that I'm not sure if you would want to say Tibetans or Hindus or the Eastern cultures. I think that that's what they were trying to do with the ley lines, with all the different connections between the spiritualism of us, the people, and then the sky, because it's all about the connecting the lines of different points, like Mount Kailash with places in Tibet or in Angkor Wat along these lines that you're talking about, and it would be in the sky and it would be on the ground, definitely connecting. So yeah, I would have to agree with you on that.
And the Giza pyramid would be the bomb because you got four sides. When you put those sides, when you put those axes into the sky, you can basically generate in the air the same radiant circles that all are equal distance from each other. So you can align everything that is in those lines of sight to a certain circle.
From the pyramid?
Yeah,
Are you
from the
saying?
pyramids. If you take the side links with a 60-degree angle, and when you put them up into the sky, it generates basically the same space as what we're currently using as the equator zone, which is a 60 radian angle.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yep.
Radiant angle isn't an angle.
A radian angle is a straight angle away from center point in a
There's no
straight
straight
line.
angles.
That is yeah, but your geometry starts with a point, and when you put your compass on that point and you open its legs, that is your radian angle.
But then a 60 radian angle is 3,400 degrees. That is not an angle.
Yeah, but a circle has than one radian angle in it. It has 360 in it.
Yeah, but that's 6 radians, not 60.
Yeah, but your radius of that radian circle of your equator has 60 times a unit length of that one radian circle in its radius.
A radian circle also isn't a thing.
No, because they never teach you this in school. They never even teach you how to calculate your radius because you're just using it as a meter stick over your
We know
surface.
how to calculate the radius, and it doesn't involve radian circles and radian angles.
A radian angle is a
Things that
straight
exist in
angle
math.
in between the legs of your compass. When you move away from that line, that is when you're generating a second radian angle with the same length as that you're using for that one unit. When you go back to the center point, that is a radian angle, which you can place 6 times around to make a full circle.
A straight angle is called a line, not an angle.
A straight line is 180 radian.
This shit is
Straight
fucking
line,
boring.
straight angle.
We don't need to hear this shit for many more hours. This shit is boring. Build on your argument some more, you guys. We don't need to sit here day after day and hear what these things fucking mean.
That's the best part. They don't mean
Yeah,
anything.
but you don't know what a straight
No
line
one
is in
cares,
geometry.
Chris. This is the thing. No one cares. You have to build further on your ideas.
Then stay ignorant and never learn what a length is in a circle.
No one cares what you're talking about. Make it more compelling. Make the so what. Find a new discovery. No one cares.
Make formulas instead of just talking.
Yeah, but when you're using that same radius with a bigger angle of a smaller angle, then is when you fuck things up.
That means absolutely nothing.
No, because you guys don't know what a circle is and what geometry starts with a point And that point, my dear boy, is already a circle. Why it has 2 pi? Because it's taking in space.
She keeps repeating herself. No one cares, honestly.